That came out today and different ending scene? Oh, I haven't heard about that. Well, it's not really in colour either. We'll talk about that. That is one of those things. I'll certainly. We got thoughts. But, you know, I had a black and white picture for the thumbnail. And Stuart's. So that was you. Well, talk now. So both desktop. So you listen, that's both desktop audios. Even though it hears you, I hear you. Has OBS done the thing where it doesn't like Skype again? Okay, complain at Bill again. And I said, oh yes, that came out like today, I didn't realise. But don't you mean in some colour? Because this one is barely in black, you know, it's almost in black and white. Okay, good, because that's a day. That is a day. Goodness. Was it? Yeah. Well, Stuart, the big question is, you know, why does Snyder do a lot of the stuff he does? That's the real question. So Peel said they could hear you, but I'll say they can't hear you, even though but Peel said they could hear you. Well, don't then say you can hear him if you can't hear him, guys. No, he's very loud on my end. Don't be saying. I haven't changed anything. Well, now now he's at Uber Max, but. But I wonder if OBS is updated so that they don't like it again, because they did that before. Well, I mean, you got two desktops on me. Which is great, because you're obviously telling them that. I mean, you know, you're at full volume on two different channels, so there isn't anything else. I've got another Samuel's mic, but that isn't obviously a thing, is it? Yeah, I guess. See, all eyes on OBS wanting to work with the software. So, can you hear this ad? Oh. So if you can hear that ad, and you can hear desktop audio, just not through Skype audio. Obviously now the 2 is a bad thing, because it didn't change anything, so there's nothing to change. So I put on add a harder. Okay, no ads coming through. They might just cut audio again for the entire computer again, which is real. How are you meant to stream then? You know, how are you meant to stream if you can't use desktop audio? What's the point then? I mean, it's done it before, hasn't it? So because Yeah, because I turn on the only other box I have, which is my second mic, and it's odd that it's on. It's odd that it's out of sync with itself slightly. Wait. Oh. Yeah, because I pulled it down because it's a thing that I could do. And if you couldn't hear desktop audio at all, it's funny because you can't vamp because there is no vamping that you can do because they can't hear you. It doesn't really help. I mean, I guess I can just restart the PC. I mean, that's the only thing I can suggest. It's not going to change anything specifically, but, you know. Okie dokie. Okay. Bye, everyone. See you in a few minutes, I guess.
It's probably the best idea.
Frame rate that version. It did save the frame rate.
Alright.
Although we did, the last update did allow it to restart where we left off. I don't know how long that's going to be effective.
Hold on here. Alright, there's you hanging up. Bye, everyone. See you in a few minutes, I guess. Oh, there, I can hear myself now.
Oh.
Alright. And I didn't have to hit go live. It's automatically there.
Oh. So this mega behind the scenes moment has been captured forever.
Sure.
And so we just do a jump, do we? Is it a hard cut of us from 2 minutes ago?
I guess. Let's when we start again. Alright, cool. Bill, what the hell do you mean? I came to my senses. Bill, what the hell you mean there's a black and white version with an alternate ending? Didn't know about that. Bill, what do you mean? I don't know. I'll stop now.
But Stuart, black and white, this one barely had any colour.
The desaturation, yes. Oh my God, Zack Snyder's great at that. Man of Steel's perfect example.
Wasn't there a video that you watched up the saturation?
Yeah.
It was much better. Yeah.
Yeah, when you add color to Man of Steel, it actually looks like a good movie.
And you said, what was he thinking? I said, well, what is Zack thinking about any of this stuff? We don't know. Right. Now we're
Somebody's complaining about I misspelt Zack Snyder, but it's with a K right there. It's fine. I don't know. Anyway. Hi, guys. We didn't change anything. Even when he restarted the computer, he didn't change anything. And now it's working. So, yeah, that's not too frustrating.
Yeah. But as long as we fix it by turning it on or off.
As I was saying, too.
Yes.
I watched the 4-hour Zack cut. Then I watched the theatrical cut. Then I watched the Zack one again. Not back to back, not on the same day. But, gotta say, the theatrical version, which I did watch right after I watched the Snyder cut, the colors bumped right up and looks fantastic. But it's so night and day, black and white in comparison.
And you don't realize until you jump between them, because it kind of you get used to it very quickly, and then it's like,
yes.
Oh shit! And so the way I watched it, I couldn't watch it in a 4-hour chunk. It was not that sort of film. So I kind of every hour I took a mental break, and so at the hour mark I came upstairs and I watched a scene I liked from the other version to kind of compare them, because there's only certain scenes that like noteworthily like the same and yet a bit different, if that makes sense. Like so much is new, but there's only so many bits that are like. I was like every time I was like, oh my god, the color, fuck, that suit is so bright. I did that 4 times. I was like, oh my god, the color, the vibrance.
Now everybody's complaining your volume's too low, Samuel.
I did already adjust that once a second ago, so I can do it again.
I know. I'm just telling what people are saying.
Well, I think
it's frustrating, doesn't it?
Especially since we hear ourselves a beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we got some super chats. Let's get to those.
Yes, Bill. That's what we talked about 4 times. Well, 1 time that you heard, but 4 times for us. Yes. 4 times, Bill.
I'm not gonna watch another goddamn. I'll watch the ending of it, but I'm not. And there's no way I ever want to watch this movie in black and white. This movie was not made to be in black and white. I don't care what the fucking original director says.
Just watch it.
Yeah, 4:3 also pissed me off. I don't care what the original director's vision is. Don't give a flying fuck. This is 2021. I'm not watching a goddamn film in black and white. It's not filmed for black and white. It's not. Not the right colors to film.
And there was a film filmed recently in black and white, and when you film in black and white on film, it's a very different actual look. You can replicate it, but it's not as real. It's not as gritty. And the way you light is very different.
Did black and white really well.
Yeah. But I don't mind it being a 4:3 if you're at the cinema. But they should make a releasable version at the aspect ratio for everyone's TV. Because if it's that, they obviously they designed it just to then crop it. Just give everyone 2 versions to watch on the streaming service, like normal or cinema, which none of us can watch at because none of us have IMAX in our homes. Give people the power to pick which version, because it wasn't designed to be watched like that for everybody ever. Hopefully on the Blu-ray they'll have a version that's like normal.
Sam's fine. Stewart is too quiet.
Oh my god! Can't win.
All right. Well, I guess somebody wants to. The original director of this podcast discussion wants the volume messy. I guess. I don't know. All right. Well, let's get to these super chats. Northern Dawn, £2. Are you guys big fans of DC stuff? See, growing up, I always liked the DC universe better. Batman, Superman, they were more like superheroes to me. Marvel never really appealed to me at all. When I was a teenager, I kind of got into Ghost Rider and stuff, but that's more Ghost Rider and Punisher, the darker stuff when I was in my teens. That's what I was drawn to. But as a kid, I was very much into the DC stuff. Marvel didn't interest me. Doctor Strange, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, didn't care. Then the movies came out, and I was still like, yeah. But then they started tying it all together, and I'm like, oh, now I got interested. So now, yeah, I'm a huge fan of that stuff, but it took me a while. But yeah, the standalone Thor movie, didn't care for it. Standalone Captain America, didn't give a shit. Iron Man was pretty interesting. And then they started tying them together, and it's like, damn, okay, now I'm interested. So that's my answer to that.
And guys, let us know if our audio is balanced now, because I can't hear, so let us know. And I was never into comics. I never just skipped that. I know I watched the X-Men cartoon when I was younger, and a little bit of... I never watched the Batman original one, but they were just, they weren't anything too special to me besides like, oh, it's Batman, yay. So only when the films came out I had any specific interest in them, and I watched every Marvel in the cinema from a certain point. DC we did, but more as like a, let's go see a film. But I mean, they're less good quality films all round. I mean, no one can claim different. And there's certainly good scenes, but they went a specific direction and it's not paid off for them. And this film is there to pay off for the streaming service, not necessarily for the filmic audience, and that's fine. It's there for a specific purpose and reason. We'll see what happens next. Everyone likes...
Just before this live, like half hour before, I was reading something that hashtag bring back the Snyderverse is like the most trending thing ever now, even much more so than release the Snyder cut, which is what this was, which was a big thing that people were harping on for a long time. So maybe they'll have more Zack Snyder films. He said this was it. He's not doing any more, but if it's popular and it's going to make the money, maybe they will. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of nice. Ben Affleck did come back for that new scene, which was quite nice. I think you can tell the extra bonus mega super bonus scene, the last scene, he's visibly differently shaped because he obviously couldn't bulk up enough, and so he looks distinctly thinner. Both he obviously had a gut through quarantine, and then also couldn't bulk up, so he has a very different shape. But you can't. So I found that quite funny because he looks different. But that's fun, knowing that he's like 3.5 years older, which is fun that actors can still maintain roughly. But I mean, I enjoyed the non-Zack Snyder DC films way more. I mean, Wonder Woman, Aquaman are much more enjoyable. So give me just good stories and good characters, and I mean, what makes me the most sad is that Superman, is if Zack Snyder hates Superman. Superman has been, this is the worst they've ever given the character, except that one that I didn't even watch that no one liked, but at least he was the hero of it. He gets a film where he's not actually Superman until the end. He gets a film where he is sort of the joint villain, but it's really a Batman film. And this one, he's in it for all of a few minutes, and he can remember all of his lines on one script page. Great payout for the actor for doing very few lines, but it's like, does he not like? I know Superman's OP, fine, but he's so wasted and disrespected in these films. As like, could you please use Superman? Like, no, okay, fine.
Yeah, we needed at least another standalone Superman movie before Batman v Superman, before he died. Batman v Superman should have been its own thing. Him fighting Doomsday should have been the one he died. We needed more time to get to know the character before we gave a shit that he was dead.
Oh yeah, no one gave a shit. How could you?
Yeah, because you knew he was coming back anyway, regardless. Mm-hmm. But there just wasn't enough time with him. And yeah, it's like Zack Snyder just does not like Superman.
It's weird. And Henry Cavill's phenomenal in Tudors. He's phenomenal as The Witcher. And, like, he's not phenomenal as Superman because he's not given the stuff to do it. He's great in the moments, but he's not given any good material. They should have had Man of Steel 2 for sure, and then have Batman appear as a surprise in Man of Steel 2. You know, across the bay in Gotham City. I could see Gotham City from across the blood. What a stupid decision was that? Yet another Zack Snyder. No, they've never been that close. So you're telling me Superman doesn't go and help Gotham when he can get there in seconds. So having separate Superman Batman villain fights, and they've never met in 20 years. I mean, come on, it's just ludicrous. It's
like Metropolis is New York and Gotham is New Jersey.
Yeah,
across the bay.
Just moronic. I forgot that until there's a scene. It was like, pointed at Gotham. It's like, how are you pointing? It's embarrassing. There's some embarrassing decisions.
Yeah.
You know, oi.
Well, Eugene puts in 100 rubles and says no spoilers. So, spoilers or no spoilers? Obviously, there's going to be spoilers in this, guys. Just it's the nature of the beast in the discussion.
As Stuart likes, completely informal discussion, so it'll go throughout. Hopefully, you guys will super chat scenes to talk about because I'll help focus a little bit. But obviously, this is kind of a throw in the dark for lives. Hopefully, you guys will super chat to victory because it's not Star Trek, obviously. But I did burn 5 hours of my day today on this, so nice to get a few of the live minimals. Yeah. So what do you think then? Overall, and I also want to clarify. I want to review it more as its own film first. I didn't see the other film fully, so I'm more going to review it as its own film and then a couple of key scenes I watched back to back. But I'm not going to compare it directly to the first film version because I don't remember it enough.
I am going to talk about both.
I'm just
for sure.
Yeah.
Do you want to share this around first, actually?
Yes! Again, yes. I forgot. We're straight into it. I think the other mishap with the tech. Missed my brain. All right, I'll see you in a minute.
All right. Misha, though, $2. I'm poor now, but here's a couple of shekels. Well, thank you very much, Misha. Much appreciated. And yes, guys, if you can join the conversation by super chatting. Samuel's not a fan of these free flow discussions. He likes to go scene by scene. I kind of like the way that Red Letter Media does it, where they just sit down and talk about the movie and kind of jump all over the place. So let him know that you guys appreciate this format by super chatting, letting us know what you want us to talk about next. If we miss a point that you want to make, if we don't hit something that you want to discuss, by all means send a super chat. It's a great way to have your thing read by us and discussed, or you can send PayPal as well. If you send a PayPal, though, just make sure that you let us know in the chat so that we can check the PayPal email and then read the comment or question from there. So, but I don't like preparing and having pictures and everything and going through scene by scene as much for some of these lives as Samuel does. He really likes that structure. Structure is good sometimes. A lot of times for this, though, I like to just go and have a discussion and kind of jump all over the place. And you guys can help lead that, even just in the regular chat, talking about things, or by sending us a super chat, as I said. If there's something particularly that you want us to talk about, by all means do that. It helps support the channel. And don't forget to hit like. Hitting like is important. We have 72 likes here, or 72 people here right now with 46 likes. We can hit 50 easily. Hit that like button, guys. Try to get up to 75 likes if you're able to. If you haven't hit like, just make sure the thumb is blue. It's very easy to do. That rhymed. Didn't even plan that, but there you go. Is this live stream going to be 4 hours? I hope not, Bill. And Bill, I still don't know what you mean by about time Stuart got his act together or whatever, but yeah, let me know. Thumb is blue. So yeah, lots of ways to support us. So you can join the channel and stuff as well. So keep that in mind, guys. But hit that like button. It's very important. So I got some super chats we're going to read before we get into it. Eugene, 1,000 rubles. Okay. Apparently, Zack Snyder wanted to use Green Lantern, John Stewart, instead of Martian Manhunter. So hashtag release the Snyder cut, I guess. LOL. I'd be down with having a Green Lantern. I mean, we did see them in the flashback scene with the mother boxes in both versions. So I'd be down with that. Martian Manhunter kind of confused me a little bit. During that scene was such a good scene with Martha talking to Lois Lane, and it wasn't really Martha. So I don't know how I feel about that necessarily, but the end scene with Martian Manhunter was pretty good. So,
and there's also
into something else, which apparently Zack Snyder doesn't want to do.
It's also worth saying that Zack did do an interview recently, as he's on Lots, and he said that he was given some notes from the studio and didn't do any of them. So what you see is exactly his vision. So that was his choice. He may have had that idea early in development, but that was his choice to be in the final film. He wasn't had any studio conditions at all. It was just get it made. So he swapped his mind, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, very random.
And Bill, I didn't read your answer earlier, so sorry. I'll scroll back later. I'm done with the live to find out. Dementia, $5. Ben Affleck continues to be surprisingly good as Batman. Not the best Batman, but not the worst. He does a solid job. Yeah, I like him as Batman. I like the older kind of Bruce Wayne, grizzled. Like, he does a good Bruce Wayne as well. That's important, to be able to do Batman and Bruce Wayne well. George Clooney did not do that. Maybe as Bruce Wayne he was all right. As Batman he was shit. Val Kilmer, you know, we should do just a live talking about Batmans in general. But I really like Ben Affleck's Batman. I would like to see more of him. I don't think that's going to be a thing, but you know, it's a bit of a shame. I would like to see a standalone Batman movie with him. Just
like Superman, he's not given very many good stuff to do. I mean, in the theatrical version, he was one of the heroes of the story. In this, he's one of the 6. He has no greater role than anyone else. They actually Joss increased his role by quite a lot. And so in this version, I was like, I mean, he's not barely in it, but he's no special. Like, he's very few interesting lines that are really interesting. There's a couple of scenes, but they're just him sort of looking broody. There's very little Batman to say I mean, he hasn't had a film to himself. That's a problem. He's better in Batman vs Superman because he actually had a real part. I mean, he was very aggressive, but he's not really in this film enough for me to say he's great. He's just a guy in a bat suit, really. He's fine, but you know, not enough.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things that I like about the Whedon cut that I wish were in this. There needs to be a hybrid cut of the two because there's some good stuff.
Both Steppenwolfs, they're twins. One's the ugly twin, and one's the spot.
No, the new Steppenwolf is definitely an improvement. I do like the new look.
Yeah, I think that's a hands down. The look is better, but as we know, the other version was we were run out of time, so we had to do something simpler with less time. Like, if they had more time, more money, it would have been much better, but they had a lack of time and money, so that's what we got. This one's much nicer.
So when are we going to see the Frakes cut of Picard with more time, more money, a real fleet at the end?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's up to other fans, isn't it? Yeah, but I definitely like Ben Affleck in Batman vs Superman. Here, he leaves very little impression, honestly. Same with Diana actually, as Wonder Woman. It sort of doesn't help in a sense that you've seen the later films with Aquaman and Wonder Woman. They're both better in their own films by a lot. Like, they're both quite dull here in comparison. It's weird. Even though I was expecting in the far runtime to give them really good scenes, and they didn't get really good scenes. I was surprised what they did focus on. It was weird, actually. I was kind of surprised what was different and what was the same. I don't know if you think that's wrong, but I was surprised how little they actually had in the film.
Well, we'll get into that in a minute. Misha, $2. What color is blue? Blue is a great color.
It's the like button. I think that's the joke he's making.
Oh, yeah. Well, Misha's also blind. Been blind since birth, so he doesn't know what colors are necessarily. Blue is a beautiful color. Yes, the sky. Yeah.
It's a soothing, gentle color. It's water and the sky, so it's the color you see most in your universe if you live on an island.
And Samuel's wearing a blue shirt today.
Yeah. My favorite color is also blue.
Ooh, and it even matches the super chat color. Ooh, your shirt. Yeah. That's great.
And it is blue dabba dee dooba da doo dabba dee dabba.
Yes. Sean K also sends a blue super chat with $2.
Thank you.
And says shout out. So yes, going back to their roles. This one I think made it a team effort. I found that the Joss Whedon, the original theatrical, focused a lot more on Cyborg and the Flash were just kind of there as new recruits, the new guys, and they didn't do anything. This one definitely put a lot more focus on both Cyborg and the Flash. The Flash actually saving the goddamn universe at the end, essentially, because they would all be dead otherwise. Whereas the Joss Whedon one, Superman came in, saved the day at the end. Like, Superman was the hero.
Well, I mean, in the other one, Flash saves more people. He's way more saving. He doesn't save the universe. He just saves more people. So they focus on more the micro of power.
He pushes a truck with the family in it, and Superman moves a whole building.
Well, yeah, it's funny. That's a great little moment.
It is, and that's the thing.
They save people.
That's the thing I like about Josh Whedon's version is the humor. A lot of people said that it was too funny or that his style, but there were so many great jokes in the Josh Whedon one that I was waiting for in this one that just the scene ended before the joke happened. That's why I said I want a hybrid version of the two, because Josh Whedon's levity is realistic, first of all, and I don't think it has to be dark all the time. There's a few little jokes here and there in this one, but the Josh Whedon jokes are cut out, and I hate that.
Well, they don't exist.
There were some really good jokes.
I mean, Zack didn't use a single bit of footage of Josh filmed, so they don't exist. There is no joke. There is no joke unless Zack, filmed it himself. That's the whole point. I think one thing I noticed in this version is that, I don't know if you'll agree with this, Josh Whedon understands the characters better from a comic perspective. Zack is trying to make them in his own way, the dark, gritty, real way, but they're not as faithful, I think, to the, like I said, Superman doesn't try and save anybody, neither does Flash. I love that Flash says in the other version he's not a fighter, he's just a guy. In this film, there's nothing between he's a guy trying to become a law degree guy to he can do anything they ask him to do. There's a leap there that I don't find really, because he doesn't care about the journey with Flash. It's just now he's everything. So I really like Josh understanding the characters better and using them more appropriately in a more three-dimensional way. Yeah.
The whole I've never really fought anybody. I just push people and run away.
Yeah, that's such an understanding note. Now, Cyborg's the exception, but they're also trying to cram too much into the film in the first one, so there's too much anyway.
Yeah.
Although I will say, it was much nicer to see the dad be alive at the end of the original version. Like, that was actually really a lovely non-death. It's like, good. I'm glad that's canon.
What, the Cyborg's dad?
Yeah, he's alive in the original version.
Yeah, in the Josh Whedon one, yes. It was very much a very glazed over kind of with him. I like the actual version where he dies better.
I just like the niceness of him being alive is all. I just mean the literal of like, yeah, he's alive.
Yeah. Sergeant Montgomery, $2. Blonde triplet Amazons. That is all. Hey, the Amazons were pretty great, I gotta say.
I was surprised the mum was alive the hundreds, thousands of years ago. Whenever I was like, same damn queen, really? And yet she doesn't know how to fight the guy. It's like, you fought in that battle. You knew it took everybody, and now you've got 20 Amazons. You wonder why your plans aren't working. You stupid. I guess you're old as all hell, but come on, you were. I'm not surprised she was actually there. I didn't realize she was there. I thought it was going to be her, 7 queens ago.
Yeah.
And then they say Diana's 5,000 years old, and I'm like, no, she isn't. That wasn't the original version. She's not 5,000. She's 5,000. How is she this naive? It's like, really.
She never left the island. I don't know.
Oh yeah, but 5,000's a long time. It's great for it though. I mean, come on.
But it's 5,000 is not a long time if you're an immortal.
Well, no. Well, we learned that from my mum being alive for 10, whatever. Yeah.
Justin Murphy, $5. I wish they left the Aquaman sitting on the lasso scene in. Awkward Momoa was awesome. Yeah, that was one of the best scenes in the original theatrical cut, and desperately needed here. One thing I found interesting was with Superman at the end. He comes in with his black suit on, which I like. I like that's a tie into the comics.
I'm not sure why though, but
neither am I. But the thing that I didn't like was at the end where it's like everybody's kind of doing their thing. You have the voiceover. He's on the street as Clark Kent and turns into the alley and pulls the shirt off, and it was the black Superman suit. It should have been the real suit.
The original.
In the original, it was absolutely. He didn't wear the black suit at all in the original one. So that's one thing I hated. I didn't mind the black suit for the final fight because the way he came in and got hit with the axe and is like, I'm not impressed. I love his entrance for that, by the way. But the black suit there is fine, but then for later, it just didn't fit for me.
Well,
and even.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, black suit represents evil Superman. And so it's like, why is he in it since he's got memories back?
Well, it doesn't represent evil Superman. It's a regeneration suit for when he returned in the comics.
Well, they should have said that then, because that was completely lost in this version.
Considering they show all the suits like moving behind him, coming out of the thing because they realized he was there.
Yeah.
And you didn't see the black one until he. Yeah, exactly.
There's no reason he'd pick that over his one that gives people hope. Like it's if you're gonna have it, give it a reason. There's no reason. Like you say, when he has it at the alley, that's dumb. It's just a wanking moment for Zack. Like there's no reason. Especially, and it's fine if they showed Superman like he chose to spend the next year with Lois, not being Superman, and so the first time he goes out, he's like in an emergency, but he's obviously back in his job again. So that's his chosen identity now, is I'm now Black Superman, which, can you imagine the people out there are going to say, I guess he's in mourning for himself maybe, but talk about a more dramatic way of, the first person that gets a clip of him, there's going to be massive, conspiracy theories. Is Black Superman evil now? You know what I mean? Like, really?
Well, Justin Murphy has it right. The Black Superman suit was for yellow sun absorption, because he gets his powers from the yellow sun. And you know that black material attracts heat to it, so that's to help him regenerate.
Yeah, that should have been in the movie, because I
should have been.
I've only seen that.
So should Seven of Nine's uniform being made of a special material to help her heal. That's what the silver material cat suit was.
He does say that for one of those things. He's like, a special thing to help you biological.
I didn't know that until literally 6 months ago.
There you go.
So it's not very clear if it is said. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he does.
It's not always.
For one of her costumes itself, offhand, as like helping her biological things. Because I remember seeing it in one of the video games where he's actually the baddie. I'm like, oh, Black Superman. So that's all I know it from.
Yeah.
Very strange. Although I did hear part of an interview he did where he said the way he had the normal suit made was that they could digitally remove the color from it, and it was designed as a way that it would reflect light in a certain way, and so he could, if this is when he was actually on the original version of the film, he could swap between the two if he could get away with it if the studio, because he had to film the color one, but he planned it that if he could get away with it, they'd let him at the final hurl swap it to black.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
Yeah. Oh, well, I liked seeing the black suit, but I was really disappointed with the final scene. It should have been in color.
That's the end, though. Literally the last moments. Let's jump back to the start. What do you think of the overall film? Because that's literally the end of it.
All right.
Overall,
you didn't see anything Superman until after the 2 hour mark. First of all,
same with Batman. He's not in a suit till over 2 hours in.
Yeah. I don't know. The beginning felt a little bit too long for me. There was some really drawn out scenes. I didn't like the introduction to the Flash with him going to the job interview thing. And a stupid accident. I thought that was really dumb and out of place. It felt more like a Josh Whedon thing. Yeah. It felt more like a Josh Whedon thing as far as how goofy it was when you're thinking about the humor of the two. So that bugged me quite a bit. Other than that, the whole Cyborg buildup was so much better. Actually getting to know Cyborg as a character, I was thoroughly underwhelmed with Cyborg on the first time I watched this movie back in the day. I was like, this character adds nothing really. But this one, he's so important, and you actually care about the character like an hour in. You're already like, I care about this character, and it doesn't just fade off into nothingness. He actually is important in the whole scheme of the movie.
Arguably, he might be the main character. Honestly, because he gets all of the of the behind the scenes screen time. Like, he gets the entire origin story. He gets several subplot scenes. He gets to be incredibly important in every single solve the problem scene. I mean, he's probably the main character. I mean, he has more screen time than Aquaman, Flash, and Superman combined. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's not that impressive he had Superman in. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Which is very, very, like, oh, wow, you had him be like the main character. Shit, okay.
Well, you know who is the main character for real is the people watching who can hit the like button. We have 100 people watching. Yeah. You're the superheroes in this story, guys. Hit the like button. We have 70 likes. Let's get up to at least... We can do 100. We can get 100 likes. Hit that like button if you haven't. Zachary Morningstar puts in $2 with a little lemon guy blowing a kiss. So thank you very much. We appreciate that.
Although, shall we do a quick... put in the chat right now, did you enjoy this new version? Not compare it, not better or worse. Did you enjoy? Pure yes or no? Yes or no? Yeah. Oh, thanks, Alex. So let us know. But yeah, definitely surprised how much you got. And you can definitely imagine Ray Park being quite pissed by Zack, Joss, for basically cutting his entire... if this is like his first biggest film, you're like, I was in 21 pages of script, now I'm in 4. I can imagine why he's pissed off. But if I was Henry
I
Cavill,
can
I'd be very
imagine
pissed
any
off
actor,
too. You know?
any actor going for a scene like the one scientist guy, the Asian scientist who's in this like 3 or 4 times,
Yeah.
which isn't even in the first one. It's like, yeah, I'm going to be in the new Justice League movie. Everybody, my family and friends.
Oh.
And then you go and watch it. It's like, where were you? Huh?
I got
where were
paid
you?
to get paid. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad for anybody that ends up on the cutting room floor. But so let's see. We got yes. Could have been four fewer endings. It did have a few ending moments. It's much like the last episode of Lord of the Rings and DS9. But I only sensed like 3 endings there.
And so I was waiting for the big moment when there's a cliffhanger, because everyone said it ends on a cliffhanger. I'm like, it really doesn't. Like, any film could end here. Like, okay, it's not.
It seriously could have been 2 movies though. Like, the length is justified for 2 movies. But I'm glad they didn't do that.
Well, it'd be a really boring first movie though. Like, as a movie, like, you wouldn't be satisfied coming out of the cinema 2 hours in. You're like, Batman wasn't in the suit yet. Now the second movie, more action.
Yeah.
But like, it's not. I'll get into that in a minute after you continue what your first thoughts and what Peel said. Yeah.
First thoughts. Yeah, seeing more of the Aquaman stuff was interesting. I didn't know that. What the hell is his name?
William Dafoe.
William Dafoe was in it. Yeah.
His hair, man. That wig. What a wig.
Yeah, I do like the addition of the opening with the end of Batman v Superman, and it was Superman's scream that actually activated the mother boxes. It's like, yes, a reason for that. Thank you. It's just a slower start to the movie. The first 2 hours are kind of for me, but overall it was I was interested and invested the whole time, but I wanted more. The other one started with the Batman scene, where he takes out one of the parademons.
Yeah, I was missing that. I was surprised it wasn't in this.
Yeah, which was a great scene. Honestly, it was a good Batman scene because you didn't get a Batman standalone movie, so we needed more stuff like that. But the conversation with Alfred and Bruce Wayne on the plane, again, I think was done well in this one, but better in the Joss Whedon one. There's a little more humor and levity, and I think that we need a hybrid edited of the two, because the whole joke of, should I go to Miss Prince with a note that says, will you be her teammate, yes or no? I thought that was hilarious. It was a good little Alfred moment that he would say to him.
Well, like I said, Batman is the primary hero in the other version. He's the guy assembling the team. In this film, he is not. It is everyone's origin story for the first 2 hours. Then they're a team for the next 4 hours. Like, there's no... Like, Batman, he was better in the other version because he was focused on more.
Yeah.
But that's because they had less time, and they're like, we need to,
And one interesting thing, in the Joss Whedon one, when Barry goes to visit his dad in the jail, and there's the guy standing behind him where he draws on his face. The guard that is standing there signing him in, I forget the actor's name, but he's kind of like a bit player kind of thing. But he was in the Zack Snyder's version, but he was one of the police officers when Superman got revived by the car. So he was in both versions, but as a different character. So I'm wondering who he is and why it was so important that he was in this movie in one form or another. That's one small little thing that I noticed about this one. Also, the Superman. Well, I'm still on my initial thoughts, I guess.
Yes, you are.
Oh, sorry. I'm kind of just talking.
It's fine. It's a 4-hour movie that meanders. You're allowed to meander too. It's 4 hours.
I want to hear your thoughts now, and then I want to get into scenes.
Okay.
So, what are your thoughts?
It's very long. It's not a movie. Let's be honest. It's not a movie. He really should have split into like 5 episodes of a miniseries. I know he couldn't because of contractual things, but it's not. There's a reason don't have 4-hour movies ever, because there is very, 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 very poor pacing. This is a film where the director said, it should have been 2 movies, but I can't do that. It should have been miniseries, but I'm not allowed to do that. I'm just going to put everything in. Every single thing I filmed, I'm going to put it in. And because on streaming, there's no cinema, so you can stop it and go have a pee break. So he turned it from a movie into just a big thing. And so as a movie, I think it doesn't work really at all. Like I said, the pace is absolutely awful. It's like 2 hours of meandering. And then some action scenes are all a bit too long, give or take. And then the ending, I think the ending's pretty solid. But that's when like there's a bit more pace to it. But it's not a movie. And like if you think about like The Witcher, which we watched last year, 50-minute episodes, right? I had way more fun watching 4 of those back to back because each one's a self-contained story, beginning, middle, and end. It has a hook on the end, and you want to watch the next one. This one, I pause every hour. There's no hook through any of the scenes. I obviously have seen a lot of the scenes before, so it's not like I'm learning watching the first time. But there's nothing to pull me forward because it's just a constant slow pace, and there's not. It's weird. It's very strange. I mean, the first Avengers is infinitely better. Infinitely better. It's well more crafted. And the Joss Whedon version is also more crafted. Like, he cut it down a lot, but he made it way more pacey, way more engaging. This one benefits for character stuff, and you're right, Cyborg is much better. But, I mean, do we care about Cyborg? Don't know. Yes? I don't know. Maybe?
I do now.
Do now? Yeah. But yeah, it's just it's a weird experience because it's not super engaging, but it's not trying to be. It's just like this is clearly like he would have liked to have had 3 movies to build up, but he couldn't. So to do it all in one film, that was always going to be a mistake. You know, they should have had the Aquaman film first, Wonder Woman first, Flash first, Cyborg first, and then this would have been epic. But that's not what happened. You know, so it's a very, very odd experience. And even with hour breaks, like hour and then break, it was like, whew. Now I will say, hour 2 is better than hour 1. Half of hour 3 is better than hour 2, and the end hour is pretty solid. I'll give the end hour actually holds it together pretty well, but the first hour especially is not brilliant. So it's got if it was 2.5 to 3, if it was 2 hours and 50, it'd be a much better film, I think. Cut an hour out, refine it down a bit. I think those are my sort of very general thoughts. But it's not a bad film, it's just not a film. It's a miniseries. It should have been made into a miniseries, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, guys, I see that. Thank you. You don't have to keep telling me in the chat. I can read the chat.
What?
The guy, the cop was played by the actor who played Jimmy Olsen in the Christopher Reeves movies. That's why he looked familiar to me.
Oh, excellent.
But yeah, important that he was in both versions, so.
Cool. So what do you think about my thoughts then?
No, I agree. We only took one break. We watched like the first half of it, and then we realized it was pretty late, so we watched the second half the next day.
Oh, okay.
Then when we watched the theatrical cut, so it was broken up that way.
So you got 2 movies.
So it did feel like 2 movies almost a little bit. Okay. And I really enjoyed the last 2 hours way more than the first 2 hours.
Yeah. It's just better paced. It actually has a pace. It's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, because like it probably should have been just 2 movies. Just rebalance the first half completely, and ironically, the way it ends almost feels like or the way it could have ended feels like they're nicking Infinity War. It just feels like an Infinity War ripoff. Oh, Darkseid won. Well, that just feels like Infinity War.
And who was the guy in the cloak? That was the kind of middleman between Steppenwolf and Darkseid.
Guy, I don't know.
You know, he reminded me of IROC from Ready Player One. I couldn't take him seriously because he looks like the guy from Ready Player One that has 10 years of stuff in him. You can't kill me.
Oh yeah. Although I was wondering who was the human next to him, the blonde hair guy. In there, just random cut to Darkseid's palace. It's like, oh hello, hello villain we actually care about. Like, hello big bad, who's barely in it. I don't know.
There's some odd choices for sure, but
and it's funny. The CG was both great and not great at the same time. It was a weird mashup because I don't know if you saw, there was so many digital sets. The one that stood out to me the most is when Diana goes to the Greece place at the start of the film. It's like, holy shit, that's a green screen location. Holy hell, this is just a step in digital. Like, he does not like shooting practical sets compared to digital. Now, I get you have a lot more scope in digital, But this film is like smearing digital sets everywhere. It was quite distracting a lot of places. Now, yes, the reshoots in the original version are also somewhat distracting because they are reshoots on green screen. But he's just so much green screen in this film when you don't need to. I know it's a bigger scope, but so much. My God. Like, I mean, again, think Avengers 1. It feels so grounded. Like, everything in the city, even though it's all green screen, it doesn't feel it. It feels really solid. This feels like a big mess of green screen. Now, it's good green screen, but it's green screen.
I didn't get that sense though. I didn't see most scenes and go, that I think that's green screen. Like I do with some green screen scenes. Like it was really well done.
I just noticed the amount of digital sets.
Yeah.
And once you kind of notice how they do them, you kind of notice the look. I think like once that illusion's broken a little bit, and like I said, straight away with the Diana stuff at the start, and also a lot of the stuff in the Amazon place at the start. I'm like, well, that's a digital person on a horse. That's a digital army. That's a digital fight. It's like so much digital.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
It was. I mean, that entire fight was not good. In this version, he relied on way too much CG, and often, like I said, the Marvel is weirdly, that's the gritty, that's the funny one, that's grounded. I know Iron Man is always CG, but he looks much better. Here, like, Diana keeps cutting to CG Diana when she's doing something. Like, over half the times, you're like, well, that's not, this isn't grounded. He wants to be, it's weird. It's a weird dichotomy of, like, vibes. Very strange. Yeah.
Interesting.
Go watch the... I like the visual, fine, but watch that initial scene where she goes to the place in Greece. It's so digital. It looks nice, but it's so digital. It's really interesting, like how they've done it.
And this was a lot more gritty too. If you notice in that scene when she's dealing with the terrorists, they were getting whipped against walls. And you see blood splatter and shit. You see them impacting the walls. The Joss Whedon version, it's like you see him get thrown, and just before he hits the wall, it gets cut. It's like they cut out all the blood and the. They made it more light, more insensitive.
Well, let's talk about that scene in particular, because that I did notice, and that I actually enjoyed watching both versions back to back. What do you think? Which one do you prefer?
Honestly, I prefer the Zack Snyder cut, just because in the other one she whips the briefcase out the top instead of jumping out with it. And yeah, seeing actually what she does to the terrorists. There's a lot more going on. You see more of them die in Zack's version.
It's like 4 times as long.
And then the last guy, the last guy with her gauntlets. Then every time she uses those, like that big blast, which she likes to use a lot, and that wasn't really used a lot in the Justice League movie. But to blow out the whole wall of the building and basically annihilate that guy, because all you see later is his hat like land on the cop car. It's like that says a lot. And then the kid, like, can I be like you one day? You can be anything you want to be.
Except superpowered. Just so you know.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say that.
It's a dumb line. It's a very pandery line. Like
it is. I didn't like that part, but overall, I prefer the Zack Snyder version because it's longer, it's grittier, and it shows off more of what the character can do. With her like flying out with the briefcase to get as far up as possible instead of just throwing it, and then the gauntlet thing. Yeah.
So I'm torn. I prefer the pacing in this version because it's much longer, and they even changed some of the lines of the terrorist guys. It still feels like a stupid idea, like stupid setup either way. Like it's not, you know what I mean? Who cares? It's not a big thing. But I like how much more time they spend in the other version. I don't like though how vicious Diana is. Like she's a murder hornet there. So she's killing people left, right, and center. Like she does not care. She's murdering
people. But they're
people.
Terrorists. They're not people. They're not.
Sure,
people.
But it's far more like you feel not bad, but she's actively hurting people for the sake of it. And I didn't appreciate that because that scene is so much longer. She does everything effortlessly. She's incredibly overpowered in that scene to the point that when you then see all the Amazonians fight in 2 scenes later, you're thinking, why are they so shit when she's a goddess? I know she is half whatever she's got some special powers. But
she's fighting humans, not parademons, and Steppenwolf.
But it's like if you set her up to be completely it's more vibe wise. She's so overpowered that nothing phases her. It's like, well, there's no threat there, you know. She's too powerful, and then I didn't like how she jumps up with it because now she can fly. Like, you either can fly... If you can... I prefer to the simple, I threw it, I'm that strong. As soon as you can jump and throw, like, you're adding so many levels of power.
But she can fly. That's a Wonder Woman thing.
Well, she can fly in the jet.
No, she can fly.
She doesn't fly in the movie.
She's always
then.
been
She
able
just
to fly like
jumps very
Superman.
far.
Yes, she does. You haven't seen Wonder Woman 84, apparently.
No, I haven't. No. She
Okay.
flies in
Well,
that?
she
That's
flies in
weird.
Wonder Woman 84.
The
Yes.
whole point is she has a jet because she can't fly. That's weird. Okay. Huh. I want to see that though. See how it is. I didn't mind that she vaporized him, although again gruesome. But I didn't like the fact she basically shrapnel. She probably killed a couple of police officers by the shrapnel. Like she doesn't care about human life was what I took from this version. Because the amount of debris, like children are safe, but I'm gonna just throw it on the ground. Like that was a lot of debris. I thought it was a very odd choice.
Yeah, that's also structural integrity of the building. Come on now.
Like if you're gonna kill him,
There's floors above that.
punch him, break his neck. Don't kill cops on the ground. So very vicious version of her. I prefer the vibe in the first one because she's a much more classic hero. She just saves them and great, done. But the pacing in the other one's better. Weird balance.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
And Bill, yes, in the first Wonder Woman movie, she did whip a lot of people around, but they were all Nazis. Again, just as bad as terrorists, so it's fine. Eugene, 500 rubles. The irony is there is no true Snyder or Whedon version. Both cuts are affected by Warner Brothers interference. By the way, Shazam and Wonder Woman are fine. Aquaman is so-so. SS and Bird of Prey are utter nonsense. I don't know what you mean by SS and
Suicide
Battle
Squad
of the
and
Planets.
Birds of Prey. Yeah, Harley Quinn's film.
Have you seen the trailer for the new Suicide Squad?
I haven't, 'cause it came out like 2 hours ago. I haven't yet.
I watched it and I thought Paul sent it to me, and I watched it and I thought the first half of it was fake. That was like a fake like movie, a satire thing. And then I saw the last half and I'm like, oh my god, this is actually for real. What the hell? So.
I mean, he's a great director. Like he actually does good films, legitimately good films. So we'll see. And hell of a cast. I like Harley Quinn's outfit better than other ones.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
She does have to learn to fly. Yes, like she uses. Well, he hasn't seen Wonder Woman 84, so I don't want to give it away. But she does fly in the cartoons and stuff as well. Like her flying is a thing.
Yeah,
and the Invisible Jet is just stupid in the movie, but whatever.
Yeah, I also found it odd that like everyone has a similar power level. Like Aquaman is semi-useless in this film. Aquaman becomes redundant after like midway. He's just kind of there because he's there. But he can also jump as far, also punch as hard, and sort of like everyone seemed vaguely the same power, and yet there shouldn't be the same power. And he should have had more purpose the rest of the film. It was weird how like just ignored he was. But then what can he do?
Aquaman.
It's weird.
Aquaman as a character is proportionally as strong as the amount of water around him. So if he's in a lake, he's very powerful. He's in the ocean, he's got almost unlimited power.
You say that, but that's not
water...
a thing in these films. Even Aquaman, the water has no effect on his power level. He's just a strong guy.
No, I'm just saying. Like, and then the atmosphere, if it's humid, people have water in their blood, so when he hits, it's all effect. Anyway,
that's not a thing in these movies,
and Wonder Woman is about 2/3 as strong as Superman. You know, shit like that. Like there's.
But not as fast though. Otherwise she'd be effective as effective as Superman and the Flash. It's clear no one is fast, just can fly.
Yeah.
Otherwise, she'd also see the Flash running.
That's a great scene. I was hoping beyond hope that scene would still be in it, where he catches the Flash out of the corner of his eye and does the. Because I love that moment, and thank God they left that in.
Well, it was interesting to see how many things that Joss thought were good ideas for Zack and how many he sort of swapped out. Yeah, it's an odd experience for sure.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a weird one, especially when you think about how at the start with the flashback, it takes 4 armies of thousands of people who are all very, very, very strong and trained, and now it takes 5. But really, just Superman. It's a whole like you shouldn't show something that huge and then be like, I know they didn't actually fight Darkseid, but Zack is very bad at setting power levels. Really, like it's all over the place. Especially now, Flash can undo time. Like
he's always been able to. That's the Flashpoint thing.
I know, but he can use it without any training. Like he just is as fast as potential right from the get go. So why isn't he doing if you set him as that powerful straight away, or at least near the end, or well, he says it early on, like he should be doing everything in the film. Like, don't set him up that like in the other film, Joss Whedon, he's not that powerful, and they use him appropriately because he is a rookie. Like he's too, and same with the Cyborg. They say in the whole scene he's unlimited power, and it's like, oh, okay, he's all powerful, great, that's exciting. You know what I mean? They're all full powerful from the start, yet how can they not win? You know, it's you can't do that. You can't set everyone at full power and then have a battle that's engaging. Especially if you don't even accept him all fierce. He's just a guy. You know? Don't even accept who he is. It's like he's just a guy who's strong. I don't know. It's weird. Tell us something about why we should care about the villain. Just strong guy. I don't know.
Ozzy, as much as we love Superman Christopher Reeves movies, he cannot turn back time by flying around the fucking planet. That's just stupid.
But the Flash.
For more like... Yes. 4 more likes to get to 100. Hit that like button, guys, if you haven't. All right, so what'd you think of the epilogue?
Oh, well, I looked at. I heard there was a cliffhanger, so I assumed it was gonna. So I was like, oh, cliffhanger, okay, and just that sounds like kind of like I said, fuck you to the fans and that didn't support him. So I assumed it was gonna end with, okay, so they win, fade, epilogue, and then poof, Darkseid comes in a ship and it says 5 years later, and then the future scene, and end on the future scene with the Flash saying we've got to go back in time, cliffhanger. And I'd be like, holy shit. And so when that happened and it wasn't a real scene, then we get Martian Manhunter, I'm like, oh, what a fizzle of an end. I was like, where's the big epic thing that we didn't get? I was very confused. But that's the problem with like hearing something that no context. So it was fine. Like, it was fine. Yeah. I liked the scene, although didn't make too much sense. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, it was weird right after the whole, his name is Bruce Wayne, to Deathstroke. And then the next scene is the whole, hi, I'm Deathstroke with the Mohawk now, working with Batman in the post-apocalyptic future with, what's her name? Aquaman's. Yeah. I thought it was interesting. And again, bad Superman tying back into the whole Batman v Superman vision that Batman has, whereas Lois Lane's dead, so he becomes evil. And the whole, even the Flash going back in time to tell Bruce that she's the key. Why is Bruce getting these visions?
Hold on, Stuart. Hold on.
It's odd, but it was great to see some of the characters back.
No, he's gone again. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, thanks, AC Costello. But when you watch the movie, come back and look, and we'll see when Stuart comes back. Hopefully he's back soon. Stuart.
I've been back for a while. I'm just sitting here staring at you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you were gone for ages. Stuart, talk about that again. Sorry about that.
I wasn't gone for ages, though. You were... I don't know. I'm done. I don't know what I...
We didn't hear anything you said. You went away ages ago. Epilogue, what do you think?
Oh, well, I didn't say anything. You didn't hear any of my epilogue. That's bullshit.
Yeah, literally. They want to know, Stuart. I'm sorry. They want to know.
Like I said, it was interesting the way that it happened with... Oh, by the way, the Batman's Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
And then Deathstroke's all of a sudden working with him. With Amber Heard. See, you heard all this because you're the one that told me about.
Yeah, I heard that bit, but I mean the other bit.
I didn't say anything else.
Oh, okay.
Really.
Oh, okay.
I just basically said it was interesting seeing some of those characters back, like the Joker, Jared Leto as the Joker, and be very careful with what you say next. Well, I'm just going to say it anyway. I killed Robin. Blah 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 blah. It's like, ooh, you're getting very. Batman should have just broken his fucking neck at that point. Why is the Joker so important to be on this goddamn team? Like, I don't get it.
Because he has a gun?
Is there going to be another movie? Is this an inevitability? Why does Bruce Wayne get these visions, have these dreams of the future? I don't understand it. I thought it was interesting, but I didn't understand it.
Well, I mean...
So,
Zack Snyder has said that the next film would have dealt with this explicitly. Like the whole next film was going to be the future war, and the next film when he originally had his plan. So he basically wanted to make the film he wanted to make, even if he never got another one because that was his original vision. So, although clearly he wasn't going to film a scene with Jared Leto because otherwise he would have originally, probably. I don't know. Yeah. I just wish that I thought that
I don't know what was filmed. I don't know what was filmed new and what was filmed before and just not used. Like,
well, no, that whole scene was new. That whole scene was new. That was the only new scene they filmed. Was everything in the future, which is why it's kind of funny. Like they got everyone back for that. And I read a news report about the Deathstroke guy. He was like, he got phone saying we want you back, and he's like, well, I signed a 5-movie contract, and I'm in one scene, and he basically canned me because he didn't do more films. I'm pissed, and then he hung up on them. And then his son said, Dad, if you don't go back, like, you'll think in 10 years, why wasn't I back? And so he was in the scene 4 years earlier, and then he came back to be in full makeup for his 2 lines because he should have been in the scene. So his son convinced him to be in one more scene. But they got Ben Affleck back and Amber Heard and Flash guy. Also, that's why he has more facial hair, because presumably they're like, well, don't shave because he looked different. Because he's been locked down for 9 months.
But in Batman v Superman, when he came through time, he had the beard and beard as well, the mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, it was fine. It could have been more and less Joker focused. Like I would have liked to have seen a more team dynamic. Especially if they're hiding so much. Why is he still in a full suit with a gun? It's like, does he have all this stuff or not? Like, it's abstract. Yeah. It was semi interesting, and just less Joker. I wanted more of a team dynamic. I like Deathstroke as a character from the show, from Arrow. I thought it was really good in that. I was like, like no one's gonna care who he is if you just know the movies, because you shouldn't. Honestly, I would just have removed the Lex Luthor scene entirely, because that, as the epilogue, cut to black is how they originally had it. To have 2 more epilogues, just remove the Lex Luthor scene. You don't need it anymore. It doesn't add anything now. What do you think? And just go from end of movie to epilogue to the future. Wouldn't that have been such a more dramatic cut? And then he wakes up. Wouldn't that have been something?
I guess. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I thought the Lex Luthor scene was a lot better this time around, and they didn't have the stupid line of "Let's start a league of our own."
Oh right.
Which makes me think of the Tom Hanks movie, A League of Their Own.
Yeah.
And just giving away Bruce Wayne's identity, I thought was interesting, and then all of a sudden it's boom, this other epilogue. It's like, okay, so you were hired to go after him. You obviously didn't kill him.
Yeah.
Now you're working together. What happened?
And how long has passed? Everyone looks the same, even though 4 years older. Well, everyone looks 4 years older.
Yeah.
Although now we've all talked about it a bit. Martian Manhunter can send things into people's brains, so presumably he's the one that's been sending the visions into his brain.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Always a possibility. I mean, he can do that, and if he's trying to help warn him, I don't know what he's. I mean, that's a possibility. I don't know.
Well, I still don't get. Well, I still don't get the Martian Manhunter scene earlier though, where he disguised himself as Martha Kent to talk to Lois Lane
for future films and for the last scene.
Yeah, but I mean, the Lois Lane and Martha scene in Joss Whedon version was very touching, and it was also in this one until you realize it's not her that was saying all those things to Lois Lane, but we're the only 2 people that understand. When everybody's mourning Superman and we have to mourn Clark. I thought that was an awesome scene, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, that wasn't even her, for Christ's sakes.
Given that Lois Lane has like 4 scenes and they ruined one emotionally, it's like, really, give her a break. Come on. I agree. It was a reveal, but as soon as I'm thinking about it, like, oh, that's a disappointment. Or like, yeah, I don't know. Or the reverse should have been lower speed Martian Manhunter. I don't know. Because yeah, I mean, I don't know how that would work, but yeah, I agree. It was nice to just have it be the mom.
Why couldn't Martian Manhunter just have been witnessing this conversation? Why was he a part of it? Why did he buy Lois Lane? And she's the key to keep Superman from going crazy in the future. But
yeah, given he has no idea what's happening, why is he he's a whole he wanted her to go back to work. How does that help the greater good? Why is he that invested? Why does that make any difference? Yeah, no, I agree. It didn't add anything. Now, he obviously set up the last scene, which would have been very random if he just appears at the end. It'd be like, wow, what a cameo.
Well, yes.
So at least that was good. Well, I would have honestly would have had him 3 times, and I would have him like reveal as like maybe he was the guard he talked about. That was Martian Manhunter too, you know. So no, seriously, like another scene where he's there as well, watching, would have been better. I think like show him as a constant presence, but like, and he can fly. Why couldn't he have been in the final battle? How cool that have been if Superman comes down. Or you think it's Superman, you think it's a flying guy, and it's actually Martian Manhunter. I was like, who the hell are you? Like, hello, I'm green, hello. Then Superman comes in, it's like, hello, I'm dead, I'm not dead anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, Superman hasn't quite made up his mind yet. I'm here. I pretended to be Superman for a little while.
It's...
Gets revealed as Martian Manhunter, and there's losing, and then Superman shows up.
How amazing would that have been as a twist if the entire time it was Martian Manhunter they revived? Like, Superman didn't come out of the ship, it was Martian Manhunter pretending as a way of making the world think, and so that's the twist at the end of the film. He's not really alive.
Oh, that would have been awful. I would have been mad.
It would have been cool though. It would have been a ball because Martian Manhunter has a very similar power set. Like he can fly, he can read minds, he can I think he can do lasers he can do lasers. Yeah, he can do most of the same stuff. Yeah.
Well, honestly, the resurrection of Superman scene, I think, played a lot better in this one, especially with the mother box. In the original one, the mother box just got dumped onto a car, and then at the end, Steppenwolf came and took it. Done. This one,
no, he didn't. We didn't see it. It just zoomed up. It was so abstract. It was like, oh, gone.
Yeah. This one, I really appreciated the fact that the dad tried to charge the box enough so they'd be able to find it and sacrifice his life for it. I thought that was really well done and really was important for the character of Cyborg. The other one, like I said, Cyborg and the Flash just don't make any kind of impact in the Josh Whedon version, really. This one, like I said, it could be argued that Cyborg is the main character, and the Flash saves the goddamn day.
But he is literally. He is a very afterthought until that scene, though. He doesn't do any real saving. Like, he's underused until he saves the universe. So it's kind of weird.
Well, he brings back Superman, and he's also running around getting the charge built up.
Okay, he's also a MacGuffin. You're right, but he doesn't do any small things. He just does. You're right. He does do the big things, but yeah. I get that's weird. He just feels redundant, even though he's did all the major plot points. That's weird.
Yeah. Plus, he even had to turn back time a little bit to initiate
which was a good setup. It was weird, but it was a good setup.
Yeah, and whereas the other one is just like he just touches it just at the right exact time, which I always thought was kind of convenient. But
that's all
this one I like that he had to rewind time a little bit to get it.
But the fact that he can do it without practice is like, oh, so he's just a time traveler. Like it's too OP. He can just do it.
Because he's talking to himself the whole time. He's like, we can't do that thing with the speed of light. Like at least they mention it because he's aware of it. He's been doing it long enough that he built his own goddamn suit out of special polymers and stuff to be able to withstand the.
Yeah.
And he mentions the Speed Force to Bruce Wayne in both versions.
Oh, yeah.
At least this one we got an explanation as to what the hell it is. Like he understands going past the speed of light. There's a problem. So I kind of like the fact he's been messing.
Or 5 jobs. He can build his own suit, but he needs 5 jobs. What was that about? Come on.
I don't know. And his dad's reaction to him getting a job at the end in this one, like really ramped up. Yeah. And the Josh Whedon one's like, yeah, you got a job. Yeah.
I liked it, but also like you were telling him to leave the career. You were not unhappy that he was having 5 jobs so much as he was pursuing a career you didn't believe him to do. So the fact that you got the career you don't want him to do, and you're now happy for him, it's like.
You also told him not to come visit you anymore because
it was
drained on his life.
It was 2 tonal different scenes that were very strange. It was like they didn't watch the first scene as much.
All right, look at some super chats here. Paul Graham puts in $5. See above chat. Well, that's a long time ago, so I don't know what you're talking about, Paul. AC Castillo, $2. Topic is not my cup of tea. My cup of Earl Grey, but take my money. Thank you, AC. Matthew DeFriedis, $2. Final scene was supposed to be Green Lantern.
See, that'd
be interesting.
See, I don't believe that just based on how Zack thought in Total Control, and he filmed the new scenes. Yeah. So I don't buy that. But
I thought it would have been interesting because we did see the Green Lantern earlier in the original battle. And then Steppenwolf almost grabbed the Green Lantern ring, and then it took off.
I like that moment better in this version. Like, he actually knows what it is and cares. Yeah. Well, why would they just send one lantern when this is the fate of the universe? Like, send more than one? Because one is pretty powerful.
Well, it's the fate of Earth. It's
it's all going to
destroy.
Yeah, but if you can take out the mother boxes, he can't change worlds anymore. So
and then you get the equation. What's the equation they're looking for? The
anti-universe,
anti-life, anti-life equation.
That wasn't explained enough or at all, or any.
Well, yeah.
We have to give motivation to our baddie, because otherwise he's just a baddie.
Yeah.
Just a bad motivation.
Dez puts in $5. Did you guys see the crossover on CW's Flash where Ezra Miller's Flash showed up? Oh, that was epic. I did not. I haven't been watching the CW shows.
Yeah, I've seen the clip. I've seen part of the clip, but I didn't end up watching that crossover because all the shows have been getting worse over time. And even though I waited to watch that, I haven't, because to watch that crossover, you got to watch every season up to that point, and they were not very good, some of them. So I was like, I don't want to watch 6 episodes of this show to get to. I will at some point, and I'm sure it'll be good. Like, it's the end of the Green Arrow, etc. But like, I want to see it because I'm sure there's more stuff in it. But
Yeah. Everybody's saying there's only one lantern for each sector.
What if Oh, come on! You got ABC more in the Green Lantern movie, so shush. That's also DC. They approved it. Everyone loves that film. And if they want to send more than one, they can send more than one. Come on, be serious.
Yeah.
It's more important to stop Darkseid, surely. Especially if they're a corp of policemen. Send more than one, you idiots. Imagine if they'd sent 5 and they saved the day. And they got the mother boxes and they stopped the villain. How great would that have been? How many billions would they have saved, you twats? God damn.
Saying that you like this more than his is like you liking dog shit more than cat shit. Black and white, 4x3. What is this? 1968, 1995. Well, we talked about the 4x3 and the black and white like early on 4 times because nobody could hear my audio. I think the black and white would be stupid. You can't film something that's just regular color to look good in black and white. You need to modify some colors for filming. I just don't want this to be in black and white. I even said that. Like, this is 2021. I don't want to watch anything in black and white.
But as I said, it's so desaturated. You barely notice there's any color in a lot of the scenes. It's so muted.
But you get used to it so quickly at the same time.
You do.
Because I watched the theatrical version right after, and damn, the colors pop in Josh Whedon's.
Yeah, the suit
so much better.
The suits are weird, like how less interesting they look in his version. I know they're meant to look more grounded, but they look less detailed because they're not as colourful. I don't know. And the 4x3, like I said, doesn't bother too much, but they should have offered 2 versions. One, if you happen to own home IMAX cinema, and everyone else. Because it's stupid just to offer one version that cuts off most of the screen, or like cuts off a good chunk of it. Because that's not how.
Just do what Mojo did, and just.
I tried.
Change that aspect.
Didn't let me. I tried. I would have. It was in 4K, so I could have, and not lost resolution really.
I just did it on my TV. Looked good.
So you didn't watch it in 4:3 then?
Didn't watch the whole thing. No, I watched like 2 minutes of it. Zoomed in to see what it would look like, and it was all right, but whatever. Not a big deal. Again, after you watch it for about 10-15 minutes, you forget about the bars on the side. It's just like, okay. I
will say it did feel cheaper because of that. Like, it had a certain removed from reality feel because it was in a different format. Because it didn't feel as epic because it's meant to feel epic in a certain way. So it actually felt like a cheap, especially like the scenes in the like when Lois talking to Martha in the house. Like, it just felt like a cheap TV show because it was framed in 4:3. Like, it didn't have that big epic cinema feel at all, which is weird. Again, compared to Avengers 1, Yeah.
Bill Barkley says, again, the black and white version has a different ending. Don't care. Won't be watching it. I'll literally just watch the ending of it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch the whole thing in black and white.
No.
Olivia Julius, $5. Here, send Super Pegasus. I will endeavor to do so. 71 people here, 106 likes. That is awesome. Hit the like button if you haven't, though. Let's try to get up to at least 120. We'll do 14 more likes. I think we can.
I do want to talk about the Amazonian battle, because you're watching it in the Snyder cut, and you think that's how long it should be, and then you watch this Joss, and it's like 1 minute 40. It literally is like a 7-minute scene down to under 2 minutes. What do you think? What do you think of them compared, and which one do you like more? Because they're very different.
I didn't notice much of a difference.
Oh,
the fact that the building falls into the ocean at the end was like inconsequential in my mind. But other than that, I mean, I didn't notice much of a difference between the two of them. I didn't realize there's that much difference in time. It just bunch of arrow slinging and horseback riding.
okay,
I don't know what the main differences were.
Oh, okay. I'll just talk then. That's fine. I just it's just very long. It was very indulgent, overindulgent. Like, it doesn't need to be 7.5 minutes for what amounts to the guy comes in and kills everyone. Like especially if the lady's fought him before. The fact that she thinks this is going to stop him in any way, it feels okay in the cinematic one because it's short. It's very peppy. There's a fight. He's not as overbearing in the original version. He breaks the thing. He goes to chase her. It feels very natural, very organic. Bit rushed when you compare it to the other one, but it's a very nicely paced piece. In this one, and also the fact that there's a moment when one of her friends is dying and she stops the battle and she goes to say, "Are you okay?" And it's like, you know that he's there killing all of your people. You've already lost 14 sisters this second. You have to run. But no, we'll pause. We'll let you talk to your... Oh, she's dead already. Okay, great. Let's continue. It's like, it's awfully paced, and it also makes them look stupider with just bows and arrows against aliens with laser beams, and they do with it just makes them look stupider, weaker, and then when you compare it to Diana's power, it's like, what's the point here? Like, just feels really weird, disbalanced wise.
The main difference that I noticed was that in the Zack Snyder version, the crack appeared in the mother box.
Yes.
So they were like,
yeah,
what the hell's happening? And the other one, the mother box is fine. It's shaking a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it cracks right before they show up. It hasn't been cracked for a while.
Same with
that's the main difference
Atlantis.
that I got with those. Yeah.
Yeah.
So other than that, I mean, they're Amazonians. Of course, they're going to use bow and arrows. That's just what the weapons they use. They're not going to have laser guns of their own.
It just feels so ineffective when you like wait on it for ages. It's like non-effective versus effective, and he kills way more of them. And also, it feels more because she's leaving them to die. It makes the Queen seem way less smart, and she feels quite good in the original, especially in like the other movies where she's the Queen. And I did quite like the building fall down as a visual. But again, she knows it's not even going to hurt him, especially when there's a skylight he can jump out of. It's like, you know he can jump, but why does she think it's going to kill him? And she stays and watches, so she again feels stupid. Whereas in the other version, he just cuts through the wall and moves on. Like, it's a very pacey piece. I like the whole thing about the archery with the lady, shooting the box. That's great. That's fine. Although again, he can jump further than you can ride. So what's the plan here? There's no plan. She's an absolutely dumb set of people. It is, and again, when you pace it, when you stretch it, it's just like, that's so stupid. It's a boring scene, honestly. It is a boring action scene. And I got bored of it. It's too long.
I think I like Steppenwolf more in this one, not only because visually he's more interesting, but because he's more sympathetic as a bad guy, because he's only a middleman. He's doing the bidding of this guy in the hood who's also working for Darkseid. And he's essentially being told what to do. He is a middleman. And I love when Superman like slices off his one horn.
That was vicious,
thing.
wasn't it? Ooh.
Yeah, it was. And then to get decapitated right before going through the thing.
Even more vicious. Yeah, good point.
And then to have your head stepped on by your boss.
Even more vicious.
But no, Steppenwolf is much better done in this one. He didn't. In the first one, in Joss Whedon's, Steppenwolf looked and sounded a lot like Liam Neeson, and this one he didn't. Yeah, I thought it was Liam Neeson the first time I watched it. Like,
he does have a very particular set of skills. It's called world domination.
Yes, it is.
See,
but no, I think I think Steppenwolf was a lot better in this one overall. Even the costume, the way the costume moved, and
Beautiful. Yeah.
it was very, very well done.
I'm harshly torn because I like. Okay, so I like he has a lot more focus. I like that a lot. I love the new design, infinitely better. I like that he feels much more relevant, but, and I read this in another review, at a certain point in the film, he becomes we don't really care anymore. At a certain point, like you say, he's just the messenger, and so his power level importance just diminishes exponentially, especially in the final battle. He's just the guy they're fighting. Like, we know he's not the real threat. But it's not just that, and I didn't watch the whole thing, but a couple of scenes, the original version with Joss Whedon, he has a more distinct character. Yes, he's not trying to get the guy's attention, but he's got this world domination plan. He talks to everyone more. He has more interesting dialogue. He talks to the boxers. He has a personal relationship. Like, he's doing it for himself, for his own reasons. He has more of a vibe. In this version, he's just a guy. He is just a guy that wants to make his old boss happy. There's no other layers to it. He's a very, very simple, and there's no depth to that. You're right, it's more sympathetic, but he's not as interesting in the individual scenes so much, is how I felt. I was more intrigued by the original version character, so I kind of wish it was the lines, the look of the new one, with the screen time of the new one, but the lines and the vibe of the old one. I just thought he was less interesting as a character, even though he was more interesting as a on-screen presence. It's weird. I'm between the two.
That is weird.
Because once you go back to the old look, ugh.
The old look didn't look good the first time, in my opinion.
No.
The CG just wasn't there, and like you said, they had run out of time and money. So
and it does just feel like a guy in a suit, even though it's literally not a guy not in a suit. The new one is actually a guy in a suit. He actually takes his suit off at one point almost. I like that. There's very I didn't think Darkseid was actually going to talk to him. That was because all those scenes were new, so it was like, ooh. I mean, it's all CG. They can just make new ones, can't they? It was easier. But the fact that he took his helmet off and his chest came out, lovely symbolic moment. Like, that was nice. But it was just too simple. He had no personality of his own, really. And he didn't interact with the people as much. That was the fun, is how he... and, like, when he's torturing the... although I did like the head crab. But it's too easy. He doesn't struggle. Like, he's just a villain that he wins every single step of every single situation, except the two he doesn't. Like, there's no tension there. The other one, he has more tension because he's just trying to do his job. The other one, he has all the tech to do it. There's no... Again, weird. I was surprised by that.
The crab thing kind of bothered me a little bit. It felt too Transformer-y. It felt like something you'd seen in a Transformers
Which
film
they did do,
coming off really? Of Megatron or something.
Yeah, they have done, I think, in essence. Yeah.
Well, with I forget the hell was his name in the first one. He transformed into like a cell phone and shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, just it felt a little gimmicky to me.
And it was also weird because Steppenwolf used no technology at any point, and yet he has a robot. It's like, he's not the techno guy, he's the guy with the axe. You know what I mean? Like, he should have had like a separate briefcase or something. It's very abstract technology when he's not using a technological thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Matt Boardman, though, $5.
Hi,
to me, Zack Snyder's DC movies are way too much about the appearance of the film and less about the story. As a result, they're just okay movies. There is a lot of spectacle for sure in Zack Snyder stuff, especially like the last half of Man of Steel, where there's just city destruction just for the sake of fighting. I agree a little bit, but it's one of those catch-22 situations with a Superman movie. A lot of times it's like they didn't fight enough. There wasn't enough at stake. The fight wasn't as epic as it could be considering they're superpowered. Or, my God, they're destroying an entire city. That's too much destruction. It's like there's no real fine line there for a superhero battle.
The problem is, though, Marvel gets it right 8 times out of 10.
Yes.
So if they can keep getting it right almost every single time, that's embarrassing when the other guys can't get it right 3 times out of 3. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even Infinity War and Endgame, excellent final battles. Even something as small as Doctor Strange, great final battle. Like, it's not that hard if you have the right people. They just don't know the right balance.
Which is odd because the DC animated movies are fantastically
done.
And
the shows, well, they used to be anyway. Yeah.
They know where it's at with the animated stuff, but for some reason, and even television stuff a little bit more so than their theatrical stuff. DC's kind of got a weird inconsistency across all the mediums, which is weird.
And I think you're right about the idea of scale, because in the first Man of Steel, he went all out. He went to the absolute nth degree, and then he reacted by doing something much smaller in the second film, which then felt out of place. And it got changed completely for Joss Whedon, although it's actually, the final battle's more similar than you think. But it's kind of a hybrid, but also it's still just in the middle of nowhere. But it's against one guy. So yeah, it's just, they just keep, it's just like keep changing all over the place.
Yeah, like I didn't have much of a problem with Man of Steel, honestly, and with the way it ended, even with him snapping Zod's neck, he had to do what he had to do.
It's what a person would
do.
With that. Yeah, it's what a real person would do, especially if you can kill him easily. It's just not a Superman movie, and I wanted to see a Superman movie. I didn't see a Superman movie.
Yeah.
It's like I would prefer to see Batman v Superman as a Batman movie with Superman in it, which it mostly was, but it was not billed as that. It's like just the balances are always a bit off.
Yeah, it's like Zack Snyder only remembers certain parts of the comic books that he really liked.
Yep.
And those he visually does very well, but storytelling-wise, connecting those pieces, not so much.
Well, Mojo said this version is a lot of nicely crafted scenes in an order and a pace that you're just like, well, why? It's like you cut the moments, they're quite good, but it's like, well, why do we have to have this and this and this order and yeah.
Yeah. Olivia Julius, $5. Never seen the movie. More of an Avengers girl. Tony Stark, call me.
Yeah, again, first Avengers film, infinitely better. You know, I mean, it's not even a competition. Like, hands down, a better film.
Yeah.
Because it also shows the civilian side. This film completely ignores any collateral civilian side, which is, you know, even though it's dumb, the Joss Whedon one about having the family, the saving civilians is a great scene. Just the family being focused on for 6 minutes of the film is dumb. But at least he cares to show it being a real thing. Even though this is a gritty film, it's weird. They completely ignore.
I also like the explanation in this one, the Zack Snyder's version, where it's like using the radiation of the area to enhance the power of the mother boxes. And that's why the dad, Cyborg's dad, also sacrificed himself, because he made sure that the box was super powered with energy so that they'd be able to track it even in the midst of all the radiation. I thought that was fantastically explained. And the other one, it's like, there's a family living here near this old destroyed nuclear. It was weird. It was weird.
Yeah, and rewatching that moment, you realize how much of a reshoot edit line him Flash just saying, "Oh yeah, it's been resettled." I did quite like the dad. I didn't like the fact that he did it as a thematic thing, but I liked the twist of why he did it. You know. At the time, you're thinking, well, he's not going to destroy it. Come on, you idiot. But the reason is a quite interesting reason. But in the other film, they just found it with a satellite. It's like, is it not that hard to see alien technology on the planet? You don't need a custom mother box to find alien technology. Sorry, you can scan the planet and find alien devices. You didn't need to die. But whatever. They need to pad it extra 10 minutes. He wanted 4 hours. What? I don't know.
Matt Boardman, $5. Also, Zack gives us these versions of the heroes that are reluctant heroes, which I never got, but they were in all the other versions of them. Yeah, they've been heroes in DC. Like, Superman was for truth, justice, and the American way, to do what's right. He was never heroes, and he was. These ones, they try to humanize the characters, I think, a little too much. I don't know. There's not a good line there between what a superhero would really be like, and I don't know. I keep thinking back to Hancock.
Yeah,
things like
great
that.
Film until the last third.
Yeah. Or that's what, if I was a superhero powered person, that's probably what I would be like. But
although briefly, Spec says Steppenwolf's armor is high technological. Now I took of it as organic metal, just like the boxes. I didn't think it was actually a metal suit. I mean, like he didn't have a power source inside of it that was charging his metal to morph. It was just a living metal. Like, it never looked to me as if it was actually he didn't have jetpacks or gadget belt. It was just metal that moved. Not technological to me. He was a guy with an axe.
I didn't get a technological vibe from it at all either. That's what threw me out with the crab thing. It's like, wow, this is Transformers.
Yeah. and it's
kind
fine.
of out of place for me.
It's fine that the flying dudes, they have weird I mean, they have tech, so if he had like handed one to him, done. But to come out of his arm was really out of the blue.
Fleet Blast Swiftback, $2. Here's 110 likes. Aquaman looks cool. LOL. Yeah, we have 111 likes, guys. If you want to hit like, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And Aquaman does look cool, but he's like not very interesting in this film. It's weird. He's sidelined from step one. Even with a scene that links to his future film, he's much better in his actual film. But obviously, he's got the whole film. It's much better in that film.
There's really not much for him to do because his powers aren't related to what the fuck is going on in this one.
He's just a strong guy. That's it. He's just there to punch. Like, that's it. I mean,
yeah.
He has no specific use in the battle. Although he can do electric balls from his trident somehow, even though he's like... Yeah, there's certain moments when they felt like they had magic rather than superpowers. And there is a line. It's like, how is Diana doing waves of energy from her... Like you're a powerful woman...
Well, they're magical gauntlets.
Okay.
She's part god, so she's got some godlike tech.
Yeah.
Like her father can throw lightning bolts and things like that. So
was he the guy?
It is magic in a sense.
Was he actually the guy from the start? Because they said it was Zeus.
Was that Zeus? I don't know. I think that was Zeus.
Yeah, they said
that would have been Diana's dad then.
Yeah, they said Zeus and like demigod was there as well. Because he was focusing on a lot, doing the exact same thing like 6 times. I mean, hey, the mum was in the battle, so maybe after the battle they got a drink, and that drink led to a baby. I mean, they're both there.
They had some shawarma. And after the shawarma, they had
a shawarma. They swarmed her.
David Lutz puts in $5. The cop played Jimmy Olsen on the old Superman show. For your information, not show, but the movies, yes, with Christopher Reeves, and he was the cop in this one, but he was in the original Joss Whedon one as the prison guard. So, yeah, he was in each of them, but as a different character. And yes, Matthew, we know that her dad is Zeus,
which is weird, but okay.
Yeah, it's fine. What other scenes can we talk about here?
I think ones that are different that stood out to me especially.
The other thing that I want a hybrid version of the two cuts because I really enjoyed a lot of the Joss Whedon humor, even though a lot of people said it was cringy. I disagree. A lot of it was needed in a film like this, and really builds a team dynamic. The humor
it made them more interesting as people. Like Batman is better in his version than this version. She's given more interesting lines that are more fun.
I also like the Flash in the Joss Whedon one where he gets into the Batcave and he's like, "Oh, it's a Batcave."
That was definitely better
in the Batmobile. Yeah, because that's what he would do. He would be looking around and also. Where in the Joss Whedon one, the other thing I liked was when Batman was like, "What have you been doing for 100 years? You know, you got your boyfriend Steve Trevor, dies, and you just take time out," and she like hits him in the chest. He's like, "Oh," like that was really well done in the Joss Whedon one. I wish that was here because it's some conflict between the characters,
Although it's odd because I'm sure I haven't seen 84 yet, but since she then did see Steve again in another film. Like, obviously that hadn't been written yet, so it's like, does Batman not know about her ex-boyfriend coming back to life again 20 years ago?
But he doesn't come back to life.
I don't know, Stuart. He's in the trailers. He's alive.
I know.
So,
He's not, though.
As far as the trailers tell him, he's alive.
It's not him. It doesn't look like that. Anyway,
I don't know.
You'll see it when you see it.
I will. Yeah. It's definitely strange. But let's talk about Cyborg for another minute, because I was, like I said, now... Because he was a lot of the screen time. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like 40 minutes dedicated to his character. It's not a bad thing. It's just the refocus is kind of astounding. And I didn't like it. It was like a lot of focus when he's an unimportant character in the grand scheme. Like, he's one of the least interesting versions. I guess he's the tech guy. But to me, out of the 5, 6 of them, he's the least interesting. Even though I loved him in the animated series, he was my favorite in the animated series. Teen Titans, I think, was my favorite. But as a character, like, I don't care very much. So it was odd how much focus they were giving him. But I like the dad actor look from Terminator and from Eureka. So it was great to see him like really in it. That was awesome to see, and the way he kind of hid the sun but then didn't.
There's something I want to say about the Cyborg character after I address Bill Barkley's comment here. By the way, Stuart, the Transformers live-action movie Microscope character is called Scalpel. It's not who I was talking about. I was talking about Frenzy from the first movie that transformed into who was on Air Force One and also transformed into the cell phone and stuff. Yes, there's a big difference between the Josh Whedon one and the Zack one, especially with Cyborg as the character, because in this one you see him on the wall with like just the torso, one arm, I think, and he was like bolted to the wall. Whatever. And in the Josh Whedon one, he's like pretty much full body sitting in a chair after the accident. So there's a big difference between, and they don't really go into the accident per se. They don't really, go into the dad.
Is he really? Because in the Batman vs Superman, you see him on the wall for Batman vs Superman. I guess that would be after.
Yeah, I know.
I guess he cut his own son up to change him. I didn't realize that.
Would have had to.
God, I didn't realize
because
that.
I didn't realize that either. But
Wow.
It's not as near as gruesome looking in the Josh version. But they don't go into it. They don't go into the dad-son dynamics too much. They do, but it's super confusing and really weirdly timed in the movie. And you can feel that there's just stuff cut out. There was reshoots.
Well,
obviously, we get to see that here.
Well, because it's not important in the grand scheme. Like, he's just a scientist guy that's there. Like, it's not important in the story. It's just this story has double the length to tell the story. So the story can be many more things. I also thought it was a bit odd that he was both the best footballer and the best scientist. I thought, give him one or the other. Don't make him a genius at both. That's a bit. But again, these are the extraordinary people because they are the extraordinary people. But it's like, can we please stop making everyone so OP? It's insane. It's like it's just not interesting at a certain point. You know, like Captain America doesn't feel OP even though he is. For whatever reason, they balance him. You know, as soon as his dad says Cyborg, he can do anything. It's like, oh, okay. That said, though, I liked him giving money to the family. That was cute. I mean, they knew what they were doing there, and it was nice. But I don't know. Also, so small. I don't know.
Who giving money to the family?
Well, when he learns to fly, when his dad said, you do anything, tries to fly, and when he tries to fly, he goes into his mind.
Helps single mom.
Yeah, he goes into his mind palace zone and then just looks at banks basically, and then gives money to people, or at least to her, which is nice. Very, very long and not important at all. Like, it's completely non-important. It would have been nice if he'd given more money to more people. That would have been nice if he'd like just upped everyone's bank account that's poor by like 5,000 rather than one woman 100,000. That I would have liked more as a concept. And also him walking around as a cyborg is a bit odd.
Yeah, and it's interesting because in the Zack Snyder cut, when he goes to meet Wonder Woman,
very different.
Diana Prince,
Real
he
different.
flies in, boom. In the other one, she goes to the spot. She goes to she goes to the spot, and he kind of just walks out of the alleyway with the hood on. It's a very different feel. Like that's totally. I don't know, man.
I kind of preferred the Joss Whedon though. I liked the more small touch. I liked the I'm trying to hide myself because I'm a cyborg. I'm they better know aliens are a thing. I'm just gonna fly in and intimidate the woman and be like, "Fuck Earth, what's it done for me?" It's like, calm down. I know you're upset. So I kind of like the more balanced approach to the other one. Like you understand it in this version, but you didn't need that. It was weird. It was a weird tonal thing.
Yeah. I also liked in the Josh Whedon one where her and Bruce Wayne were talking on the side of the lake.
Yeah.
Where his lake house was, and then later when she confronts him, she's like, "I knew you were there watching us at the lake." Like she knew that he was. So even though he thought he had the upper hand on them, she knew he was there. I thought that was great. Again, that wasn't in this version at all, but
yeah.
Just makes her character look a lot better in the Josh Whedon one, and for that part anyway.
Yeah, I mean, she's quite passive in the middle in this version because they're so swappy between people and things.
There's more of a team dynamic though in this one, especially at the end. Like I said,
Yes.
there's more of the team all doing their own thing to solve the problem, as opposed to, hey, look, here's Superman to save the day. You know, this one felt a little bit more team dynamic-y.
But it's also more flat because of that. Especially as they're just punching and not doing anything. Like at a certain point, like at the start of the battle, like, and also Batman is being completely absent is odd. It makes more sense probably.
He's only a rich guy. He doesn't have any superpowers. He's just shooting the parademons, who in this version have like cannons that they're shooting, which were totally omitted from the Josh Whedon version.
I just watched it. They are actually in the scene. They're just not used.
They're in the scene, but they're in the scenes. Certain scenes are cut right before you see them firing.
Yeah.
Like Josh Whedon didn't want that in there.
Well, it extends the moment by like 20 minutes, which is, if you've got time, do it.
Well, you got 4 hours, so
it's certainly quite cool to see that. Although I still don't buy they hit Flash, because the way they play it, it's not luck. He's actually like working it out. It's like he's going near the speed of light. You're never going to hit him. Sorry, never. Let's not be
just by luck. Keep it firing that same shot in that same area. Maybe you'll hit him.
Well, okay, but just the way they shot is like, oh, he's ready. Oh, he's worked it out.
Yeah.
No, you haven't. Jump back for a second. Now it's funny. People complained in the Joss Whedon version of Batman being then shooting his gun. It's like, well, what's he doing? He shoots a gun in the Zack Snyder at the start as well. Like, he shoots a gun in both versions as a strategy. Let's not bitch about him shooting a gun. Thanks.
No.
Just gonna call that out. It's fine. Like, but what else can he do? You know. But he's oddly absent. Like, when his powers aren't relevant, he's just gone from the situation. Like, he's not the main character, and he's definitely not gadget Batman. Like, he uses so few gadgets. He does so few actions. Like, it would have been nice if he's there with his belt, and especially this is like veteran 20-year him.
Yeah.
Like, he should have everything, and he is so ineffective relative. The turret stuff's fine, but relative to what Batman should be, he's so ineffective.
I still think it's funny. He has a Spider-Man, the animated series moment, where he ejects from his car.
Yeah.
The parademons come to get him. He ejects from the ejector seat, and he launches his grappling hook, and it locks onto something, and he swoops down. Like, what the hell did that lock on?
It's a tall tower.
Maybe another parademon.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
And I did quite like the ejection seat. I'll be honest, that was quite a fun gimmick. I was like, oh, it's okay. That's very Batman.
It was in the Josh Whedon one, but the scene was a lot shorter.
Okay.
He ejects, and that's it. And then you see him using the grapple thing.
Yeah.
This one he ejects, and the parademons go after him while he's in the chair.
Didn't even remember it. So, although I found it odd, this obviously seems longer, where he's like shooting, where he comes in the car and then they come help him, and there's quite a long delay. Whereas Flash can run faster than the speed of light, so he could be. Whatever, fine, whatever. But the whole time, he's just shooting forwards with his machine guns. He's not hitting anything. Like, if you watch it very carefully, he's just shooting forwards. Now, two of the guns sometimes move, but there's other guns that just shoot forward. It's like, you're not doing anything. Yeah. Do something. Like, do less bullets, more hitting.
He made a little more sense in the Josh Whedon version, where he went in to take down the shield.
Yep.
And then in the car, he had the sound, that sound that attracted the parademons, so they were all following him.
Yeah.
Again, that's totally absent from this one. His initial thing here was to get in, take the shield down, which I'm glad they did. And also, originally, before the first one got released, they did a trailer with the sky was all blue and purple with the shield, and then they changed it to red for the final movie. And this one, they dropped the shield altogether. Where it's like a night sky, which I think looks a lot better. I don't like the red sky, so that's another thing that's different in this one.
And I'm getting torn. I like the fact that every time they put a new mother box. Oh no, that's the Joss Whedon one. Damn it, it's hard to remember which one's which sometimes. In the Joss Whedon one, each time the mother box is a new one's done, the dome thing goes bigger.
It's bigger,
which is better as a concept. Because it's evolving, but I don't like the fact it's like, why are you wasting CG budget of it's changing the world every few seconds? Now, as a concept, that makes sense. He's starting the process earlier. It creates more tension rather than just because in this film he's just waiting there.
Yeah,
just waiting for you all. Like, it hasn't got as much tension as the other one, but I do kind of like the fact that he does he says, I'm building my stronghold. so right from early on, that was kind of fun. But by the same token, your stronghold sucked ass. Like, you're an alien from another planet that's just helped destroy thousands of worlds, and my stronghold is fucking weak. Like, don't set up a really epic defenses and then be completely useless against a few missiles. Whereas in the other version, they're not set up that strong, it's just an energy field. So it looks cooler, but it's more flawed as a concept. So I'm like torn, both do bits better. And yeah, certainly putting it down was much cooler. It's weird.
And I hated the way in the Josh Whedon one he talks mother.
Yeah.
He talks to the mother boxes like that bugged me. And it also didn't make sense because the dad with Cyborg talked about the change engine, which I didn't link to one of the mother boxes.
Oh no? Oh.
This one very clearly has like, here's the mother box. I'm going to use it to reactivate my son. It's that storyline is very much easier to follow in this one, as opposed to the Josh Whedon one. I heard change engine when I first watched that movie, and I'm like, what the hell is that? I kind of at the end figured it might have been the mother box, but it was never really clear. This one, I love the way the story progresses, and even the fact that the dad sacrifices himself, I think is a good way to do it.
It feels chunky. It feels chunky. It feels like it could have been its own Cyborg movie.
It definitely could have been. But nobody would go see a Cyborg movie because nobody cares.
Well, if you had Batman in it. I mean, seriously, just have a Batman and Wonder Woman. Like, you don't need to have 6 of them. I think Superman.
I think it also goes to what I was saying earlier with the Marvel stuff. I didn't care about Thor. I didn't care about Iron Man. I didn't care about that stuff. Didn't watch even Captain America. Didn't watch the movies because it was like, oh yeah, not a superhero I liked growing up. Once they started tying them together, then you go back and watch them. So the same thing could happen with the Cyborg movie, I guess. But anyway.
But 2 quick comments from Bill. Says they got rid of the Batman Flash scene where Batman says just save one. Yeah, I thought that was lovely. Like, yeah, it's about saving people, and they completely remove the concept that Flash can run with people, which is very important in the TV series. But in this version, it looks as if he's actually he can't touch anybody when he's going Flash speed because it kills them, which I did like. He breaks his own shoes. That was actually a nice touch. I thought it was quite cool. But he can't move people, which makes his power way less useful. Whereas in the Zack Snyder one, Joss Whedon one, he saves all of them, and it feels really satisfying because that's what he can do. That's awesome, awesome. Second comment, Thumb Warrior X. The thing, Flash is running around the same place, so eventually he's going to get hit. So eventually he's going to hit the projectiles, not the way around. Problem is the Flash sees the world in microseconds, so he's seeing these coming at him. He can dodge it. He can dodge on infinite because he sees them coming at him in super slow motion. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter how many times you run quickly, you can see them coming for minutes. Like, you know, it doesn't matter. Now, if it's burst fire and he's confused, he can only dodge so many, but he can dodge them forever. You can't convince me. Because again, watch earlier in the film. And in fact, watch, because his speed seems to change throughout the film a little bit. Watch that scene where he's running around with Diana, hands of the sword. Like, it's milliseconds he's running in real time. So, of course, he can dodge everything. You know, that's why the Superman scene's so powerful, that he can also work in milliseconds. Because he's that fast. He's the Flash.
Bill Barkley mentions the Bat Tank, too. Yeah, I thought that was a weird thing, because in the Zack Snyder version, when they're doing the little monologue thing at the end, you see Batman standing beside the Bat Tank. In the Josh Whedon one, he's standing on a building with the Bat plane in front of him instead. Like, it's just a weird little thing, but cool tank. Tanks for the tank, Zach? I don't know.
Yeah, that was weird. I'm guessing they wrote it in the script and then someone built it as part of the team, and they're like, well, we spent 2 weeks building the asset. Okay, put it in the scene.
Yeah. Squadra Course throws in $2, avoiding spoilers, but wanted to super chat. Talk to you later. Oh, well, damn. Thank you for at least super chatting. Appreciate that, Squadra Course. Hopefully you watch this later, and hello from the future. And the past.
And it's funny because the film is already spoiled, right? Like, you can't watch it fresh. But I do think that you sort of forget what's new and what's old, because in reality, most of it's new. In reality. But because you know the story, it's not got the same sort of pathos as the first time, because it can't. You already know the story. But until you get to the end, I think the film lulls you into a sense of I know where it's going until the ending is very different. Like the way it battles. And then you're like, this is all different. It's like, yeah, it is. So I kind of like that way they make you think.
Yeah, and listen, Jericho has a point, but I don't think Barry was paying attention. He was struggling to keep the charge up at that time. Because he kept saying to Cyborg, "Is it ready yet? Because I can't hold this. I can't keep this going indefinitely. Because he's at the verge of the speed of light. He's just waiting."
Yeah.
So yeah, he might not be paying attention to everything going on.
But again, if that takes 44 minutes to reach him in his time, I mean, you got to think in his perspective. You know, and actually, it's one thing I thought. Just to go back to an earlier thing we said, Deanna in the first fight, she is faster than every single speeding bullet, right? In the fight with Steppenwolf, she is slow as all hell. Don't give her massive speed and then completely dilute that power. Like, bullets are really fast, and she's fast on all of them. Like, remember, Superman is fast as a speeding bullet. That's the point. So don't invent that. But it wasn't Zack, there wasn't the Joss Whedon, but the way they played in that film, it almost felt like it just felt different. But it's just a stupid thing to set up if you're gonna make her so much slower later.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Because Aquaman isn't that fast by any means. He's a big sluggish guy, but Diana clearly is. So have her be that fast. But I think you better forget about that scene because it's 3.5 hours ago. It's just dumb. She is faster, but they don't ever use it. It's dumb.
Yeah. Aravik Sonder, $2. I wish they would do a Blue Beetle something. Really? Why?
What's that?
I didn't even know Blue Beetle was a thing in Death's comic.
Oh. Yeah.
Blue Beetle was just one of the Justice League guys.
Well, in Justice League 4, yes.
Yeah, the Bat Tank was a homage to the Dark Knight comic. Yes, Dark Knight.
It's just random. It's just there because it was there.
It was cool to see for sure.
Yeah, I did prefer the way they found the mother boxes for sure, as the Joker says. Although they mentioned they have a massive whole flashback sequence. Well, flash hallucination with World War II, not World War One. In the theatrical, they just explain how they found the mother box, and it's simple, easy done. And this version is like, let's spend the next 4.5 minutes with intricate, expensive sequences for the same information.
In the Joss Whedon one, it was found during World War One,
and there we go.
By the British.
Yeah.
In the second version, Zack's, it was uncovered by the Nazis.
Always the Nazis. Always the Nazis.
Yeah. So again, that's a weird tonal shift from like the British in World War One to the Nazis in World War Two. Like, we don't want to mention the Nazis, according to Josh, I guess.
But they Wonder Woman just fought them and killed loads of them.
And that's exactly what they would do. They were rounding up artifacts and trinkets and things like that, especially religious. That's exactly what they would do. So I had no problem with that. I thought that made a lot more sense. Sure, the World War One thing was fine, but I don't know.
I did like
small thing.
I liked a lot how he was in the visions. I thought that was a really nice way of telling the story. The fact that it cut to him, but it's like it didn't need to be a 4.5 minute sequence. It was completely unimportant to anything. Did not matter. Did not really care. Move on.
I kind of appreciated it though, because at the same time, like the tribe of man unburied the one mother box, but to keep it hidden from mankind, but like. So the heads of different tribes of men buried the box, but how did it come back?
Well, my assumption is it was buried once, and then then the abbey was built over it when they forgot about it, and they just found it was just buried for, 4,000 years, and then found. Like, I didn't think it was any story. No, not say I did like the new version, but in a 4-hour film, you don't need to spend in a film you don't need to spend 4 minutes on a complete unimportant piece of information. Like, it's just the example of Zack just saying, fuck it. I'll put everything, It's like it was complete over the top. And then the dad being able to open it and then pick it out. And I didn't like how... Again, I like the fact that we saw him get his son back, but I don't buy for a second this random guy can successfully, in the way it's played out, very, very quickly... learn how to use the box to revive his son. It looks so easy. It's like you have no idea how it works. You have no idea this is possible. You have zero information this is possible. And then Cyborg even says, but he didn't quite understand it. He didn't understand it at all. That's the point. What a stupid little moment.
But see, that's one thing I like about the Zack version as well. You see all the scientists there, like much like when Molinaire came to Earth and they built the thing around it to study it.
Yeah.
And they had the scientists there. This one made a lot more sense because there was a scientific team there, led by that Asian guy. They uncovered the secrets of this box, which makes a lot more sense as well that they evacuated everybody from the building, around the alien ship. Because before it's like, shouldn't there be guards or people in there when they go in?
Yeah.
This one made a little more sense that way, and the fact that the dad covered for them, because the dad was like, no, it's fake. It's a fake alert. Oh, wait a minute. Hi, son. All right, yeah, no, it's fine. I was wrong. I kind of like that. So this one made a little more sense in that regard.
Yeah, the second half was good, and I think everything inside the ship was better in this version. I think, but it's just because it was longer, like it was just more developed. But they didn't know what the mother box. Like, remember the guy said, "Well, what was in the box that was trying to be stolen?" Oh, we had no idea. So they had no idea what it was. But the guy managed to take from the no idea to I revived my son. Now, if they'd shown a sequence where they'd found the box, he had found it when he was a young man, CGI de-aging, and it took him 30 years. Perfect. But the only reason he took it out of storage is because, or the only reason he found it is because Superman's ship fell to Earth, which was only like 2 years ago. And so in 2 years, he managed to revive his son. I just don't buy it. There's no reason for that. It's just, they gave nothing. They have no explanation at all. Like, it'd be better if it was just an accident. Like, he was testing on it, and it electrified something, and then he used that to revive his son. But just, oh yeah, I shoot beams in it, and it saves my son for no reason. It's just dumb. Really, 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 really dumb.
Yeah, it kind of is.
But and what do you think about the much more developed revival? Not the actual revival itself of Superman, but the idea that you get those constant warnings of this is permanent, and actually a flash forward into Diana's death and some really kind of gruesome moments, which was like so out of the blue. I was like, what the hell?
Well, who saw that? Cyborg saw that.
Yeah.
So Cyborg's. So is it Martian Manhunter that gave him that vision as well as Bruce Wayne?
We assume it was a ship. Well, we don't know. That's the point, do we? Is visions different people? Could be. But yeah, it was so random. But I kind of liked it. They look cool.
Oh, I did like it. It's like, don't do this. Like, this is going to end bad. And then you keep getting that indication because you see bad Superman and even Batman v Superman.
Yep.
The evil Superman with the soldiers. Huh. Yeah, it's like he needs to tell another story. He needs at least one more movie.
Or a miniseries. He's better at miniseries. Make 3-hour films. Have a really nice, dense, because that was really interesting. But I also, again, I thought that the way they played it, to me, felt like the ship, combined with the box, because it's also kind of connected, combined with Cyborg's unlimited brain, because he's connected to the box, like, it's using all the power together to give him a vision of the future where the universe is telling him, if you do this, you lose. That's why I thought they actually lost at the end, and it was going to cut to the future. And then the next one would have to be them going back in time, the Flash, to stop the past. Like, I actually, because I was like, well, we saw the future. They locked it in. Like, don't lock in a future if you're just going to ignore that. So that set me up a really expectation for the end, and it didn't. I mean, it obviously still can be. But it was such a powerful, like, weird random ad.
Renee Moncayo puts in 3,900 something. Not sure.
What is it? Chilean peso. Excellent.
Thank you.
Which is $5. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Shouldn't Ontario Batman be invited? I don't know who Ontario Batman is.
Oh, London, Ontario, he means.
Well, there's London Batman, there's Chatham Batman, there's Toronto Batman. So he's London Batman.
Really?
But there's a lot of Batmans in the area, yeah.
Sounds like you should have a drunk review with him as well, Stuart. I'd watch that.
Well.
I'd watch that. I'm sure they have very different points. I come from a film point of view. He's going to come from a very Batman point of view.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't really talked to him about it either. So, yeah, it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, ow. My back is sore.
Oh, dear. Let me briefly scroll through it, see if I see anything else that sticks out.
Okay. I was just gonna say, like, a lot of people are like slamming Josh Whedon's online, like, fuck you, Josh. Seeing what we could have had, and you changed it so much. I didn't mind Josh's, honestly. It didn't make a lot of sense because he had cut so much out, especially with the cyborg stuff. So there was a lot of problems tonality there because it just felt very cut and paste. But I think the humor was better. Well, there was actually humor. It felt. It got to the point a lot quicker, obviously, because it's 2 hours. I don't want to slam Josh Whedon for his version. It's an interesting take, and it's funny to see how things can change. Like, we don't get this opportunity very often to see original filmmaker's idea, and then how somebody else came in and changed it. Like, I would like to see, honestly, the original cut of the original intention for Solo, because it was also changed midstream.
Yes.
They had a lot of stuff filmed for that, and that got changed. So I want to see other, because that also suffers from the same thing. Like, it doesn't really make sense. You can tell there were two different creative touches there. So I don't agree with slamming Josh Whedon's. His had its own thing, its own feel, and I really appreciate a lot of the lighter moments, the humor he put in. There's a lot better dialogue, I think, in some spots with the Josh Whedon one, even though because of the way it was cut, didn't make a lot of sense in a lot of places. So,
and we've got to remember, and this is one thing I do call out when we do teenage reviews, of the time only lasts a certain amount of time and then has to stand on its own. When we were in 2017, people did not enjoy Zack Snyder's universe. Man of Steel was okay, we hope for better. Batman vs Superman was a 50-50 or less split for enjoyment, and it got massive pan. So, Justice League, he was under a lot of pressure, and looking at Marvel, success after success, people were like, we don't want his vision, for fuck's sake. He's doing shitty film, come on. And so they fired him because people didn't want his film. And so then Joss Whedon's brought in, who made the Avenger films, to take the guy's original vision, make it only one film, not two films, which clearly was in the script with 2 films. So that's hard. It's a film involving 6 heroes, which none have been set up, which he had set up in his Avengers, so he could do a full story. He's going to use half of the same footage, with all the same costumes, all the same set pieces, and only have maybe like 4 months or 4 weeks to reshoot. You know what I mean? He had a real struggle to make something. Also, the studio saying make it this, and this. So he had to turn a fire into a film without enough money, time, or creative energy. He did a phenomenal job. It's a focused, engaging film that is well paced. It gives everyone some stuff to do. Gives Batman more of a focus. Gives Superman a bit more of a payoff, because he actually says like I missed the "Do you bleed?" I hate it in the last film, but it's a payoff to a setup.
I loved it. That was one of my favorite lines.
It's a payoff.
Josh Whedon's one.
Like in this version, he's like,
I recognize
and then leaves. Like he's actually less powerful in this one. It's weird. So it's a much more focused. It's a film, and its pacing is actually pretty damn solid. And the end's fine. But if they had more time, stuff would have been more polished. Maybe given it a half an hour would have been a ton better. And the Russian family, whatever, was a mistake. But I understand the idea. Good idea, poor execution. So this film is, I do anything I want, everything I want, with enough money to do it, enough time to do it, and I can be as long as I want. So it's a very different sort of film, and it's not a very good film. It's an experience, but it's not a very good film. But it also does some things better, but if it has double the time. But also, it's a very different beast. I think Joss is probably a more enjoyable film. I would have, like I said, make this a mini-series with a designed, like, each one has an end that kind of goes into the next one. They have chapters. They almost could have done that, Yeah, that's kind of where I stand on it. Both are good for different reasons. But I don't want to watch 4 hours of his film again. I'm sorry, it wasn't worth 4 hours of my time for a second watch. Like, I'm done. I don't need to watch ever again. It's too long.
And I think that's why they put in the chapter 1, chapter 2, because that's like a natural, here, stop here for a second, take a break, go do something, come back. Melissa Jericho, or is it here? Thumb Warrior DX. The Ayer cut of Suicide Squad, says Lucy Jericho. Yeah, I'd like to see the original Suicide Squad one as well. That also suffers very much from nothing making any goddamn sense. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Superman 2, we got the Donner cut and the original cut, very different. The Donner cut was the original version, or vision of the director. Changed dramatically. So, yeah, I guess we do have another example of it, but...
Alyssa Joker says, makes no sense, though. He's supposed to be confused there. Why would he say, do you bleed? The whole point is one of the last things he remembers. Why would he want to kill Batman if he doesn't remember? You just broke your own point. The point is that memory is so strong that it overrides. It's the thing he's brought. It's the only thing in his brain, and so he remembers that. So why does he want to kill Batman then? Sorry. And also, I thought it was kind of strange in the original version, Cyborg, he says, my systems are so weird, they overpowered, I'm going to shoot you, which never worked anyway. It's like, what? They have to start a fight with Superman.
His automatic defense protection system.
And now that's the reason. It's like, are you joking? Early in the film, you did it yourself, and he had a bigger threat, because it was actually a threat. Superman's not even being a threat right now. I thought that was a stupid, contrived moment. It's just, we want to fight Superman, and we have no reason to... Let's have him shoot him. It's like, oh, come on, you idiots.
Yeah.
Like, just have him... Just see Batman. That's all you have to do. Have Batman walk up, and then he goes aggressive. You don't need the bullshit. Was stupid in both versions, but it was worse to have automatic defense system. Where was that the rest of the film? Sorry, why wasn't at the end of the film his third arm Steppenwolf shooting? You know, if he's got automatic self defenses, use it. Stupid.
Oh, there you are. You're back now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's glaringly obvious with the Joss Whedon one is that whole resurrection scene where Aquaman's like, he's not right, because that's his close up on Aquaman.
Mm-hmm. Just waiting for you. And yes, the Thumb Warrior, he has full control of his powers, and yet he doesn't at the most important moment. Yes. Terrible. Terrible. Harry's back. What'd you say, Stuart? Hello? Oh, now it's hung up. Oh dear. Oh dear.
That was hella weird.
Yes.
Because I could see you on the live stream. I could hear you.
Yes.
I was still frozen.
Yes.
All of a sudden Skype went away. It's like, what the hell? Anyway.
What do you say, Stuart? I want to hear your point.
I don't know what I was talking about. What did I say? Oh, Josh Whedon's version during that where he comes back.
Oh yeah,
it was very much a close up on Aquaman. Yeah, he ain't right, and he says something else too, but it's very much static, like from here up. And you clearly green screen behind him. Like that was obviously a reshoot that Josh did, which was funny, and I think fit the situation. But it's going back and knowing that was a reshoot, and just the way it's filmed, it looks awful. Just saying, that's one of the things about the Josh one that now that I've seen the original cut, what it should have been, it's just interesting.
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, green screen in both versions, like I said, I can tell, and I think Josh used it way. Zack used it a lot more than I thought he was going to use. But I do think though Aquaman, I prefer Aquaman in the Joss Whedon version. I prefer all their reactions being like, "This isn't right," rather than just staring at him. It's like, have some personality, guys. Come on, this is a big moment. No one seems to do anything. So I much prefer Zack's interactive version. Like again, he thought, what would the characters say? Zack is just like, let's have a moment. And it's like, yeah, but these are characters too. This isn't just a moment. Again, Henry doesn't say anything. Like Henry is so underused. He's barely it's like, give Henry something to do, please. He's on set for 2 days for this sequence. He doesn't say anything. Come on.
Yeah. let's see. We'll just see the extended cut of Event Horizon. Yeah, Event Horizon's another one that the original vision wasn't quite fulfilled on screen. So,
And one that's gonna.
Fleet Paw Swiftback, $2. Oh, sorry, Sam. Don't sing. For the love of God, don't sing.
I will try not to. And one thing I was going to say is the one cut I will say is phenomenally better is the Alien 3 directors to cinematic cinema. Cinema is a bit crap. It's like a 4 to 5 out of 10. Director's like an 8.5 out of 10. It's like it's the third best Aliens as opposed to the fourth best Aliens.
Have you seen the extended cut of Batman v Superman?
No, we were gonna watch this weekend in preparation for this, and then we watched this instead earlier. So I probably still will.
It's way better than the theatrical version. Makes a lot more sense.
I definitely don't remember anything about the original theatrical because I just don't enjoy that film. But it'll be interesting now to go back in comparison to this. Getting to watch his new vision here and then his original vision there, like see how much they match up. That'll be interesting, I think, as a go back.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, see the cyborg scene actually, see if it's the exact same scene or not. I don't know. Guess so.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think we could probably do with another $30 in super chats, maybe, and another 6 likes. Let's get to 125. So if you got your last thoughts on the Zack Snyder cut, do you think it's better than Josh Whedon's?
Yes, let us know. Which one do you prefer out of the two? Let us know right now.
Yeah, and do you just hate Josh Whedon's after seeing this? Because I think that's really unfair. I think it really deserves to be going back and rewatched after you've seen this version, just because it's not as bad as you think it is, honestly.
I enjoyed it way more than Batman vs Superman. Like I would have done. That's a decent film, much better than the last one. And then it made me excited for the next films. Like the DC films improved after Joss took over. He made a better film with that one, and then until this, of the trend. And then Shazam was pretty good. Wonder Woman was even better, and Aquaman was weird but pretty good. I haven't seen Wonder Woman 2, so I can't compare. But if Joss Whedon got to write the script of his own Justice League, I'm sure it would be better than this film. Like if he actually got to do his own thing, but he didn't. He had to change. Yeah. He had to tweak a story with footage he already had, and film some new there isn't many new scenes in the Joss Whedon version. That shows how limited he was in terms of sets and locations. If you think about it. Like, he had to alter someone else's film rather than actually, he couldn't do much to make a new film. I kind of wish he was able to actually change more to make it actually truly, like, a more interesting film. Because, like you say, it was too much. But, I wouldn't have included Aquaman and Cyborg. I think it's probably too overcrowded, Just having those 4 is enough. Yeah. Or maybe 5, it didn't need to be all 6 plus everyone else. Although I do quite like having two villains, in a sense. It adds a bit of scale. But Doomsday as a villain, like, he's not set up properly. Like, he's a big bad guy. How powerful is he? He kills worlds. He also kills other people. Like, and he can hit the ground once. I thought he was a pretty poorly set up mega ultra villain. Like, who cares? He's no Thanos, you know. He was a pretty poor ultra villain. Given he's meant to be the top dog of the entire universe of DC, he was pretty piss poor. And he also looked a bit lame. Like it's it's just a guy, you know what I mean? It's just a guy. He's not very impressive looking. Steppenwolf, much more impressive looking.
Yeah, Bill Barkley, will you be covering Godzilla vs Kong which is out this Wednesday? Probably not. I might talk about it in one of my lives because I will be seeing it with my friend Michael Freitas. He's a big Godzilla fan. It's going to be in the IMAX theater here, so hopefully we'll get to see it in IMAX in 3D. And not get the COVIDs. So we'll see whether we go down, I don't know, we'll see. I hate Whedon from the way he treats women. Yeah, but how somebody is and their work should be separated, in my opinion. Yep. It doesn't take away from their creativity.
Nope. He makes amazing films, TV, and movies. That's the end of that side of the discussion.
Yeah.
And honestly, I quite liked
Sergeant.
I quite liked the sub story with him and with in the other version of Flash being like nervous around Wonder Woman because she's so beautiful and powerful, and like that's fun. It's another dynamic to the team. It's like he's a loner. Here's this powerful woman. That's a fun moment. And he sort of vaguely flirts in the other version, but like having those extra bits, it's good. I liked it. Like adds another level, and he looks appropriately awkward for it. Like he's not objectifying women. It's just And it did, you know.
Yeah.
Did a fine job in that. Although, as with anything, Lois Lane Superman underused. Like, use more Lois Lane, but she has no purpose except to be Superman's love interest. Like, it's like, come on, give her a real role. But there's too many people already. Oh,
well, she's the reason that Superman goes bad, because she does.
Well, that's true.
So.
Yeah, she's both his redemption and his villain turn. But she has no plot, story, or character to herself, even though she's a really good actress, and that's really sad.
Yeah.
And didn't you just love the fact that the way Mum's like, it's Martha! It's such a snag of like, I'm making me say it in a very dramatic way, because it's like, Martha, look, it's Martha! Hello! Have you heard that name's important? Yeah. I like that. Such a dig at the audience. It was great.
Sergeant Montgomery, $5. I like Zack Snyder's version. I agree that would have made an epic 3 or 4-parter. Sam say Mother Box in Vox voice. Oh, good God.
Martian Manhunter. Okay, I was just Batman. But it's hard because the Mother versus Vox is a different sort of cadence to Vash.
Yeah.
There you go, I had a V to it. It makes it much easier.
And Bill's asking if I'm going to do the Mortal Kombat on my it won't be on my personal channel. It'll probably be on one of my late night lives here, live hangouts, because people like the live hangouts. But we'll see.
And this is a joke.
No
real... Darkseid is way better than stupid Thanos. Well, not in this film. Not in the films. Maybe in the comics, but we ain't in the comics right now.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you think of the music?
Was all right. I didn't really notice it, to be honest. It's something that I don't pick up on a lot of times when I'm watching something, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know.
But you're more of a soundtrack guy. What did you think?
They used, I mean, it's a 4-hour film, so there's a lot more time to fill. They used a lot less music in this version, and they liked using the same. The Wonder Woman effing annoying drum or beat thing that is obnoxious at this point, because it's just such a. It was only a couple of times, but they like, it's obnoxious. It really
I like
is.
That one.
It's good until you hear it 4 or 5 times in the same movie. It's like, no, stop. Or at least have different versions of it, you know. But the fact they had a lot of the same musical cues repeating again and again for different moments. Like every time she's on screen, it's like there's vocals of women, which is fine. But because the film's so long, it happens again and again and again and again and again, and it's like. But you notice them because they're so much more distinct, but all the other stuff is very indistinct. So it was strange. For the most part, the music is extremely... You don't notice it at all. It doesn't play a part. But that means you're not focusing on it as telling the story. Whenever I cut to the Joss Whedon version, I found the music much more engaging, but it told you more how to feel. It was much more action film. It was much more Avengers style. So it got you in the mood more, but also it was sort of generic Avengers style, because it couldn't be actually anything from the Marvel, which is... I mean, if you look at the Marvel films... They have extremely developed musical cues for every single hero in lots of different situations. They've had their own film to build music for. So those songs are extremely distinct because they've had time to build. So it was whereas he just had to kind of do his own thing. So neither are good, but it's more impactful in Joss Whedon's. Although I did, by the end, I like the Cyborg theme, because the Cyborg theme ends up being in the Zack Snyder. That ended up being like the hero theme in the entire film at the end, which I think also tells you again that Cyborg's like the main lead, really. Like his hero journey is the film, hence his musical cue. So, yeah. There you go.
I didn't even know there was a Cyborg theme. Honestly, I'll have to go back and watch and listen for that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Damn. Really, the music was the main highlight. Well, I disagree. I didn't notice it. So.
Yeah, I'm a soundtrack guy. Like when a soundtrack is like really good, like Lord of the Rings, right? If you watch Lord of the Rings, you're in it. Like the music is a powerful player. I hope you know that music. You know.
I haven't watched the Lord of the Rings movies.
Oh, you haven't? Fuck. Okay, sorry. Well, they are. They're actually an important part. That's like very, very memorable, very, very distinct, and very, very powerful. Like some films, it just lives and breathes with its music, and some films it doesn't. You know, which is weird. But I mean, it's hard. It's hard because like, how many different sounds have you had over the course of 50 years of film? it's amazing things aren't replicated as much as they are. You know, the best stuff might only be done, you know, once, etc. Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, guys, final $15, final 5 likes, and yeah, just please just throw in the chat which you prefer better, Snyder or Whedon. I really want to hear like a quick jump through. I do think they are different animals though.
Yeah.
And this is definitely a mini-series to me, so it's not a film. So it's hard to think of it that way. If you would, you know, I guess, well, it's just like a dessert. If you could watch one again, which one would you watch again? Given that you just watched both. Which would you pick?
Me?
Yeah. I don't think which is better, just which would you choose to watch again?
Honestly, the Zack Snyder cut. Just because of the more ensemble, like actually Justice League team doing the thing at the end. Like I said, I want a hybrid of the two cuts, though. I want somebody to edit in some of the Joss Whedon jokes, the colorful Superman reveal at the end when he does the Clark Kent pulling back the shirt thing should be the colorful suit, not the black and white suit. Little things like that added to this. It needs a little bit of both in it for me, but honestly, the Zack Snyder wouldn't be the one I'd watch again. So,
if someone made like a 2.5 hour cut of this, it'd be better as a watchable thing. But I think I would prefer to watch the Joss Whedon, but I would miss a few key points of this film. And I did watch those scenes again, and I noticed the edit points because now I know what was in between them. There are probably a lot of better scenes because they're more punchy, but because most of those things are not needed. You know what I mean? They are extra for the sake of extra. And it's amazing how much Josh just managed to cut down, you know, a 7-minute fight down to 2 minutes, and it's still a good fight. Like, that's a really talented editor that can do that. So it's you can't unsee that, but it's a more satisfying. All the scenes are more satisfying, especially like I said, the Amazon fight is much stronger, I think, in this original version.
Well, Eugene, 250 rubles. It's fine. There's a lot of overdragged scenes like Steppenwolf. I found Mother Box, 3 Mother Boxes left to find. Also, Wonder Woman theme is boring. Not Junkie XL, but not Adele vocalizing. Snyder greater than Whedon.
There we go.
I like the Wonder Woman theme. That's actually one that's on my MP3 player, so
it's
I enjoy
good.
it. But that's from Batman v Superman.
Yeah, it's just, it should, like all good things, it should be made into several versions that kind of flow rather than just, and here it is again, and here it is again. It's like, okay. But I think it was used more in the Joss Whedon version, and it was obnoxious then. Like it was used a lot less here than that version. I was quite surprised. It showed a lot more restraint, so it wasn't obnoxious. It was just there.
Fleetpaw Swiftback, $5. Money, because I haven't watched either cut. I'm a horrible person because I'm not into superhero movies that much. That's okay. It's not for everybody. But yeah, you should probably watch them because they are fun. I want to go back and watch the Aquaman movie again. I've seen it once, and I don't remember much of it. So
it's great.
Yeah.
It's not like a cinematic contender in terms of like, you know, it's no Godfather, but it's really fun, and it's a film where they throw every single idea in and they somehow mostly gel. You're like, damn it, wow, we've got everything's in this film. He's much better as Aquaman in it because he's, you know, 1 of 6 with like 21 minutes of screen time. Well, Joey says Superman took a new god's axe like it was nothing, making Steppenwolf worthless after that. Well, yeah, once Superman's suit isn't hurt by his weapon, but I mean, that entire fight, once Superman comes in, it's a boring fight. He just punches him. Like, there's no tension at a certain point, because Superman's there. He's OP, he wins. Like, that's it. Well, I thought to myself, though, this is boring. I wish his armor gets destroyed. Like, that at least would show some sort of damage, and then suddenly, damage, slice! Oh! So at least they did the thing I said to do in my brain. But, you know, Superman is like, he wins. You can't kill him, you can't hurt him, you can't, like, that's the whole point. He's a boring character. It's how he interacts with other people, you know?
Yeah.
Which is kind of ballsy, you know, to kill him, and therefore we don't have to worry about him. But it's like, yeah, but don't do that, please. Have him do other things, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Superman does have his weaknesses, like magic. He's you know, vulnerable to magic and things like that.
Sure, well,
So,
sure. But I mean, in this film, he had, there's no kryptonite in sight. There was no,
yeah,
he was completely godlike because he was a god. In
I
this
loved
film.
his entrance. Loved his entrance to fight Steppenwolf, like the axe coming down, and in Josh Whedon's version, it actually hits Cyborg and slices through him, like into his arm.
Yes.
This one, it's like, poof, and then I'm not impressed. I just love that. That's great.
Which, but I loved it, but like you said, it completely it removes all power from the guy. It's like, well, that's your one thing. You have no other power except your axe. So you are useless now.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think we'll probably call it quits there. It's been a good discussion for sure, and I really enjoyed watching both versions of this. It's something that I think we talked about for a long time, and debated as to which is better. But the main consensus is that the Zack Snyder cut is a lot better. So, it is what it is. It's the original version versus somebody coming in to clean up. So
it is just a bit of a chore to watch. It's hard to watch in one sitting. And I woke up early, but I watched it from 1, and I couldn't watch it more than an hour. I mean, like I said, the first hour was the worst part of it, but it's just like, it is a chore to watch. It's not a very enjoyable experience, and like from a film, it's not paced as a film. It needs to be paced as a film. Maybe I should go watch the Avengers 1 again. That's not a really fair comparison, but it's yeah, it was a very interesting experience though, for sure, and certainly when you got into the new scenes, they are big, And also, I did quite like the way Cyborg knows about the jet. I kind of like that. It's like, yeah, the jet wants to work, just software update, and then you keep trying to fix it and they can't. It's like, yeah, just software. That was kind of fun.
Yeah. View from Lookout, £5.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
That's probably a good place to leave it, guys. Thank you for joining us. Join me tonight. I'll probably be doing another Trekkie trivia, where you guys get to ask me questions, and if I fail miserably, I have to drink. So
that's when you really have to ask him these questions about
List Jericho, you didn't show up to the last one, even though you said you had some good trivia questions before that. So hopefully you can tune up tonight for it.
Being called
I
out.
look forward to. I was actually on game last time and was answering questions really good. So yeah.
So you were anti-hungover.
Sergeant Montgomery. Sergeant Montgomery, $2 later, y'all. Later. Thank you for joining us. So yeah, till next week when we need to do our lead up to season 5 of TNG, where we kind of look at all the episode titles, see what we remember, have our little synopsis off, if you want to call it that, where we each tell what we think of the episode, and you get to decide who was right, who did it better.
It's our video.
That'll be early next week.
It's our video that's the most fun yet most sad and depressing one. It's like it's both the highest and the lowest of our videos. And
even though it's not officially a Drunkyards, we will be drinking during it. It's just casual little discussion. So
yeah, couple of. I don't think it's not a shot one, but it's definitely a sort of a gentle drink just for funsies. And guys, do tune in for the Saturday's video. It's a reasonably long one, fan requested, fan supported. Check it out, and a Star Trek Online-esque ish one as well. So tune in. Thank you all. And I guess time zones go back to normal this weekend, I think.
Yes, as of Monday, if you've been watching these lives at 9 p.m. in the UK, they'll be pushed to 10 again because the time zones will sync up again. So
back to normal soon.
Yeah.
Cool. So until then, he's Captain Foley.
He's Commander Cockings, and we are the Trekyards League. The Foley cut. The Foley cut's 2 hours long. The Cockings cut will be 4 hours long.
But most of it's in my invisible jet, so it's fine.